Superior Court. The judge will call 2 names at a time. First person goes up inside there, goes to the podium. You're only going to say 2 names. Full name and date of birth. Let the judge say what she needs to say, and after she's done, if you guys have any questions, you guys can ask afterwards. Okay? So let her talk first. Gentlemen, once you guys are done, come to the side over here. Okay? That way we can kind of start both of you out of here as soon as you guys get done. Alright? Remember, you don't have an attorney present. So be very careful what you say in the podium, because everything is being recorded audibly and visually. And you don't have an attorney present, so it can be very against you. Okay? So just be very cautious of what you say. Also, please no talking. Okay? Everything you say in here, like I said, is recorded, but then it also echoes inside the courtroom. And I don't think you want people to be talking when the judge is talking to you. Okay? So show them respect.
All right.
Thank you. You may be seated. Good morning. This is the time set for the 5 a.m. calendar on July 10th, 2025. The court's orders for the taking of DNA and fingerprints that was given on the first calendar of this month will apply to all matters on this calendar. I'll call you guys each one at a time to the podium, and I'll provide a second name to sit in the chair outside of this room. I'll tell you what you're here for, if I'm appointing counsel, if you have a bond, and what your release conditions are. If we could start with Adam Martinez to the podium and Natasha Gorman to the chair. Good morning, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Adam Martinez, 12/20/2000.
Thank you, sir. It does look like we have 3 cases on the calendar here this morning. The first one is a new Superior Court case. It involves 1 count of criminal trespass of a residential structure, a Class 6 felony, 1 count of resisting arrest, passive resistance, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of criminal damage, a Class 1 misdemeanor. Probable cause has been found, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You have 2 additional cases on the calendar, and it looks like you failed to appear at some hearings and a warrant was issued. I'm going to affirm the attorney that was previously appointed to represent you in those cases as well. You're going to have some hearings in the downtown Superior Courthouse. The first one's going to be a status conference July 16th at 8:30. That applies to all 3 cases. You'll have an evidentiary hearing July 17th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing July 18th at 8:30. In the failure to appear cases, you have a secured appearance bond of $2,500 in each case for a total of $5,000. However, on the new charges, because you were out on felony release for those cases that are pending, you will be held non-bondable on those charges. The hearing set for July 17th at 1:30 is the time set to determine if bond will be set on your new charges. So although you do have bond on the other 2 charges, you won't be released until you know if bond is going to be set on this case on July 17th. So I don't recommend posting that bond until you have that evidentiary hearing. All of that will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just up to your left, sir. They'll give you that paperwork. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Gorman to the podium and Malik Wilson to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Natasha Gorman, July 20th, 1974.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like we are here on a new Superior Court case. It does include 1 count of aggravated assault, a Class 3 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. You're going to have a status conference July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing July 18th at 8:30, both in the downtown Superior Courthouse on Madison Street. You have a secured appearance bond of $50,000. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release. You're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness, and you may not possess any weapons. All of that information will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions, ma'am?
You said how much?
You have a secured appearance bond of $50,000.
So, $50,000. What does that mean?
So you can use a bail bonding company because it is secured appearance bond. So that's typically going to be 10% plus collateral. When you get to the back here in a little bit, they'll give you a phone and contact information to bail bonding companies.
Okay, could I say one thing
Sure.
about that? Okay, I don't have money to pay bail, and I'm in school, and I can't afford. I'm in school for financial aid, full time. I can't afford to miss school.
So you were
I'm in
arrested on
college.
some very serious charges. And
Yeah.
so I have 15 factors that I have to take into consideration when
Yeah.
I'm setting the bond.
Yeah.
And it does include whether or not I believe you are a danger to the community.
I'm
And
not.
based on the charges that have been alleged, I do have some concerns about that. The state is requesting a $75,000 cash bond. I have set a secured bond of $50,000. If that bond is not posted, then you'll remain in custody until at least your next hearing on July 16th, and at that time, you'll meet with your attorney, and you can discuss your options with them at that time. Did you have any further questions relating to your release conditions, ma'am? If you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Malik Wilson to the podium, and Bruce Moore to the chair. Good morning. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Malik Wilson, February 3rd, 1980.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a new Superior Court case. It does include one count of burglary in the first degree, a Class 2 felony. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. You're going to have a status conference on July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing July 18th at 8:30, both in the downtown Superior Courthouse. You have a secured appearance bond of $50,000. If that bond is posted, you have written conditions of release. You are not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness, and you may not possess any weapons. All of this will be in your paperwork. Did you have any questions?
No.
If you step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Bruce Moore to the podium and Joseph Thomas to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Bruce Edward Moore Jr., 5/18/79.
Thank you, sir. It does look like we have 5 cases on the calendar here this morning. We have 4 probation violation warrants that were issued with allegations you violated term 4 of your probation. I'm going to appoint counsel in those cases.
Can I?
Hold on, and then I'll give you an opportunity to speak. You're going to have a probation revocation hearing July 16th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $3,000, $2,500, $2,000, and $750 in each of your probation cases. You also are here on some new charges. That includes 1 count of dangerous drug possession for use, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of narcotic drug possession for use. For purposes of this hearing only, I am not finding probable cause as to the narcotic drugs, but I am finding probable cause to the dangerous drugs. That does not mean that charge is dismissed. They may test that substance and move forward.
Okay.
I am going to appoint counsel to represent you. You'll have a status conference July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing July 18th at 8:30. In this case, you have a bond of $1,750. That's a total bond between your 5 cases of $10,000.
Okay.
If that bond is posted, you will have written conditions of release. It will include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. Can we please reprint number 6? And did you have any questions, sir?
Yeah, with the probation violations, I was never even appointed a probation officer. I moved and they gave me a new probation officer, and I called down there probably 50 times to try to find out who my PO was, and nobody ever knew anything. I still stayed at the same residence for over a year after supposedly I violated, and nobody even came to my house. Nobody came and checked, and I take care of my wife. She's handicapped, she's paralyzed, so I wasn't running and hiding. I was there. Just they never answered any of my calls or anything. I don't even know my PO's name.
So when you get your paperwork here in a minute, it will have a phone number. However, the reason for the probation violation is not solely for failure to maintain contact. It also includes that you were ordered to self-surrender on one of your cases to serve some time, and you failed to appear for your self-surrender. That was, let me see which case that was.
It was 2 years ago, yeah.
And that may be the case, but
Yeah.
the warrants are still valid at this
All right.
time. So you will have to post that bond of $10,000 total for all 5 cases in order to be released on these cases. And then you have the 3 hearings coming up. Date,
Okay.
times, and location will be in your paperwork. If you post bond and fail to appear, a warrant will issue,
All right.
and you'll forfeit any bond, okay?
All right, thank you.
Any further questions, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if you'll take a seat out there, we need to replace case number 6. Thank you. Joseph Thomas to the podium. Yadira Cadena to the chair. Cadena to the chair. Good morning, can I get your name and date of birth?
Joseph Thomas, 21292.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a grand jury warrant that was issued. It's for an offense date of March 1st, 2025, for 1 count of aggravated taking ID of another, a Class 3 felony. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You'll have an arraignment hearing July 17th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $10,000. It does look like you're in custody on a few other matters. If you have bonds in those, this would be in addition to that. If you post those bonds, you have written conditions of release. It does include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours of release. Did you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, go step to your left. The officer will give you that paperwork. Thank you, sir. Yadira to the podium. Keith Moore to the chair. Good morning, can I get your name and date of birth?
Yadira Jasmine Mosqueda Cadena, October 9, 1993.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like you are here on a new case. You are here on 1 count of assault and 1 count of disorderly conduct. Those are both misdemeanor charges. Probable cause has been found, and I'm appointing an attorney to represent you. You're going to have an arraignment hearing July 16th at 1 p.m., and that's going to be in the Buckeye Municipal Court. You have a secured appearance bond of $5,000. If you post that bond, you're going to have written conditions of release. It does include not returning to the scene of the alleged crime, no contact with the alleged victim, complainant, or witness, and you must obey the terms of any order of protection that may be issued against you. If you live with the alleged victim, you have to find an alternative residence. You can contact law enforcement for 1 civil standby to collect any personal belongings you may have. You also need to ensure you attend that hearing on July 16th. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue and you'll forfeit any bond that you've posted. Did you have any questions?
Will I be able to see my children, or?
So this is not relating to a custody order. Do you have children in common with the alleged victim?
I do.
One moment. Okay, so I'm going to add some language in here that you can contact the alleged victim through email or text messages solely for communication about the children, okay?
Okay.
Okay, anything further, ma'am?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, if you'll take a seat out there, we'll reprint that paperwork.
Okay.
Keith Moore to the podium and Kevin Berry to the chair. Good morning, can I get your name and date of birth?
Morning, Keith Moore, 12/28/90.
Thank you, sir. It does look like we have 3 cases on the calendar, and they're probation violation warrants with allegations you violated terms 6, 7, and 21. I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you, and you're going to have a probation revocation hearing on July 16th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $2,500 in one case, $1,000 in another, and $750 in the third, for a total bond of $4,250. If bond is posted, you will have written conditions of release. It will include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 24 hours of release. You also need to ensure you attend that hearing. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue and you'll forfeit any bond you've posted. Did you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. If you step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Kevin Berry to the podium and Kimberly Rayal to the chair. Good morning, can I get your name and date of birth?
Kavion Berry, 12/02/1998.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a probation violation. I'm gonna have to reprint this one too. I'm gonna appoint counsel. They've alleged you violated terms 2 and 6 of your probation. You're gonna have a probation revocation hearing on July 16th at 8:30, and you have a secured appearance bond of $2,500. If that bond is posted, you'll have written conditions of release. It will include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, what are the terms 2 and 6?
Number 2 relates to not complying with the written orders through adult probation department and abiding by a law, have a law-abiding lifestyle. And 6 is you did not request and obtain approval before leaving the state of Arizona. Okay?
Thank you. Wait,
And officer, I had to reprint that, I'm sorry.
You said 6 was what?
You did not request and obtain adult probation department approval before leaving the state.
Confused on that
I
one.
believe that was back in May. Let me see what date they said.
They said I left state?
Correct.
I've been on GPS.
Let me see if they gave me a date.
Yeah, I've been on GPS the whole time, since November. That's crazy. Yeah, I got out in November and I've been on GPS monitoring.
It says, it does say, it says you left the state without prior written approval in May of 2025 is what your probation officer is alleging.
Oh wow, yeah, I've been I've been on GPS the whole time.
Okay, so if that's the case and you haven't left, go ahead and talk to your attorney about that when you meet with them at your hearing. And let me just double check. I believe that hearing was July 16th at 8:30. If you were on GPS, then hopefully they can check into that. But that's what the allegations are.
Okay, thank you so much. All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you have it going.
You too. Kimberly Rayal to the podium and Linda Dakin to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Kimberly Real, 42584.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like you are here on a failure to appear bench warrant that was issued for you for a pending drug charge. I'm going to affirm the attorney previously appointed to represent you and set a status conference July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing July 18th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $2,500. If that bond is posted, you have written conditions of release you'll need to comply with. It does include not possessing any drugs without a valid prescription, and you may not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. You also need to ensure you attend these hearings. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue, and you'll forfeit any bonds you've posted. Did you have any questions? Okay, just up to your left, ma'am, they'll give you that paperwork. Linda Dakin to the podium. Mr. Patton to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Linda Dakin, April 24th, 1960.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like you are here on 2 failure to appear bench warrants that were issued for some pending drug charges you have. I'll affirm the attorney previously appointed to represent you and set a status conference July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing July 18th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $1,000 in each case for a total of $2,000. If bond is posted, you have written conditions of release. You are not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription, and you may not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. You'll also need to ensure you attend these hearings. If you fail to appear at these hearings, another warrant will issue, and you'll forfeit any bonds you may have posted. Did you have any questions, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
All right, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Patton to the podium, and Mr. Rushton to the chair. Good evening, sir. Could I get your name and date of birth?
Deshaun Patton, August 28, 1998.
Thank you, sir. It does look like we have 3 cases on the calendar, and it does look like they are all failure to appear warrants that were issued for pending drug charges you have. I'm going to affirm the attorney that was previously appointed to represent you, and I'm going to set a hearing on July 16th at 8:30 and a hearing on July 18th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $500 in one case and $250 each in the other two cases for a total bond of $1,000. If you post that bond, you'll have written conditions of release. It will include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. You also need to ensure you attend these hearings. If you fail to appear, another warrant will issue and you'll forfeit any bond you've posted. Did you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just up to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Mr. Rushton to the podium and Mr. Brown to the chair. Good morning, can I get your name and date of birth?
J. Rustin, December 24th, 1968.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a warrant. It has an offense date of April 13th, 2024 for one count of unlawfully, knowingly using electronic communications for a lewd act, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. You're going to have an arraignment hearing. This will be in the East Mesa Justice Court on July 15th at 8:30 in the morning. You have a secured appearance bond of $1,000. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release. It will include you not possessing any drugs without a valid prescription, and you may not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. You also need to ensure you attend this hearing. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest, and you'll forfeit any bond that you've posted. Did you have any questions, sir?
I do. I was already seen on these about a year ago, and they were dismissed, so I'm kind of shocked. I don't understand what is going on at all. It was in front of Judge, I believe Sherwood Johnson at the time, and then it switched over to a Judge Blake. And I went to all of my court hearings and everything, and they were dismissed and dropped or whatever. So, I mean, are they refiling charges or something? Or because I've been to all the court hearings, and I mean, they just picked me up yesterday, and I'm like, what in the world's going on? Because I've already been seen on this last year.
So I have limited information because it is a justice court, but what I can tell you, it's showing that they issued a summons for you on April 11th, 2025. They attempted to serve you with that summons on April 22nd, but they were unsuccessful, and they indicated that the residence was vacant for the home that they had listed for you. As a result, they issued this warrant on June 26, 2025, and the judicial officer this is assigned to is Fred Arnett. So again, based on the limited information of what I have from the Justice Court and what you're telling me, it does appear as though they may have refiled these this year because this is a very recent warrant, just as of a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so I don't understand why, if it was dismissed, what's going on?
So you'll have to ask the Justice Court that because I don't have access to the information. They've issued this warrant for you on June 26th. I am appointing counsel to represent you. You'll meet with that attorney on July 15th, and hopefully at that time the Justice Court and or your attorney can provide you more information as to what's going on.
What do I do about getting out? I live alone and I have pets, and I'm just very confused. I don't understand. I don't know what to do. I have a job. They picked me up at, as I was going to my job. I mean, they didn't call. They didn't send me an email. Nothing.
Yeah, like I said, it looks like they attempted to serve you. I don't know what address they had on file because I can't see that. They've indicated that the address they had was a vacant residence.
Yeah, I've moved, yes. But I've kept the court updated with all my information because, like I said, I'm just really surprised, and I can't afford to get out. And I know if you don't have a high enough bond, you can't bond out. So I'd be sitting here, and I've got pets at home, and I live at home, and I'm very confused because I've followed all the court instructions, and if they've refiled, I'm kind of at a loss. But I've always went to all my court hearings. It was dismissed. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, they didn't call me on the phone. I mean, nothing. My phone number hasn't changed. So I just don't understand. But I need to get home. And I have a job, like I said, and I've got my pets. I have 3 pets, and I've done everything. I'm just trying to say I've done everything that they told me to do, as you can see. And if they've refiled, well, okay. But I've got to get home.
So most of the questions, again, I can't answer for you because I only have the information that I have provided to you, which indicates that they attempted to serve at an address that was vacant, and as a result of that, they issued this warrant. Again, it looks like they issued it on June 26, 2025, when they were not able to reach you at the address they had on file. And that's about the only information they have put on this warrant that I have.
As you can see, how quickly the warrant went out to here. I'm not hiding, I'm not ditching, I'm still at the same job. That's how they, you know what I'm saying? I don't understand it. I don't have the means or whatever to get out, and I have obeyed everything. I've done everything they said, and they dismissed all these charges. If they're refiling, I sure would like the opportunity to, you know, go, but I got pets at home and my job, and I don't understand, because I did everything they asked me to do.
Let me see if I can find anything else on public access. Like I said, I'm providing you what I do have. I'll see if I can find anything on public access. So if you'll take a seat out there, I'll see what I can find on here, and I'll call your case up here in just a moment, okay? I'm going to keep the calendar going, okay?
I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening to me.
Of course, and I'll call you back up here in just a moment. Can I have Mr. Brown to the podium and Ms. Padilla to the chair? Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Good morning, Your Honor. Deion Brown,
And your date of birth, sir?
8/16/89.
Thank you. It does look like you are here on a probation violation warrant with allegations you violated terms 3, 5, and 15. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you, and you'll have a probation revocation hearing on July 16th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $750. If you post that bond, you have written conditions of release. You're not to possess any weapons or alcohol, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours. All of that will be in your paperwork, sir. Did you have any questions?
Yes. From the moment I was released from prison, I've been in constant contact with the probation office. Like, originally, I was homeless. Like, everyone I knew, I'm from Illinois, so everyone I knew here in Arizona had moved back to Illinois. I was explaining to her, like, I'm homeless. Like, I can't provide you with an address that I don't have. So once I obtained an address and found a steady place to live, by that time it was just giving me the runaround. They told me that I wasn't even appointed a probation officer. You know what I mean? So who was I to check into or confide in when I'm not appointed anyone? You understand what I'm saying?
So it looks like there are multiple reasons they filed this petition to revoke. It does include indicating that you were previously incarcerated with a release date of April 17, 2025, and that you failed to contact your probation officer once you were released from that incarceration. And then the additional terms include you didn't receive prior approval before changing your residence, and that your whereabouts have been unknown since being released from incarceration in April of 2025. So I did appoint counsel. You'll meet with that attorney on July 16th, and you can discuss any concerns you have related to that. But at this time, those are the allegations that have been made regarding what terms you violated. And you'll have your probation revocation hearing and potential disposition the same day on July 16th at 8:30. Any further questions, sir?
My bond, is it, you said?
You have a secured appearance bond of $750, meaning you can use a bail bonding company. If you use a bail bonding company, it's typically 10% plus collateral.
All right.
Okay. If you'll step to your left, sir, the officer will give you that paperwork. And if I could have Ms. Padilla to the podium and John DeVio to the chair.
Daisy Padilla, December 5th, 2002.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like you are here on a probation violation warrant with allegations you violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation. I'll appoint an attorney to represent you, and you'll have a probation revocation hearing July 16th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $500 in this case. If you post bond, you'll have written conditions of release. It will include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours of release. You also need to ensure you attend that hearing. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest and you'll forfeit any bond that you posted. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, just step to your left. The officer will give you that paperwork, ma'am. John DeVio to the podium and Sienna Claiborne to the chair.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
John DeVio, 1760.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a direct complaint that was filed. It has an offense date of February 28, 2022. It has 1 count of dangerous drug possession, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of drug paraphernalia possession, a Class 6 felony. I'm appointing an attorney to represent you, and you're going to have a status conference July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing July 18th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $750. If you post bond, you have written conditions of release. You're not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription. You may not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. You'll need to ensure you attend these hearings. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue and you'll forfeit any bond you posted. Did you have any questions?
Yes, Your Honor. This was back in 2022. I served 92 days and killed my parole number, and they let me go. And I was never aware of these charges. I was under the assumption that they threw them out because they never called me. They had 90-something days. I asked the officers at the prison what my next step is. He said, well, if you don't get in trouble, you have nothing to worry about. And I went with that. And I haven't been in trouble. I've been working. I do everything right now. I walked away from drugs. I don't do drugs anymore. And now this comes back to haunt me. I'm going to lose my job. Now, I do have $470 I can post as bond today.
When were you in prison most recently?
Back then, 2021.
In 2021?
Yeah.
And do you know when you were released approximately?
I don't remember the month. I think it was 2021. It was right in the middle of COVID. When COVID first came out. If you can lower the bond, that'd be a great help to me. I can post that today. So I won't lose my job, and I can maintain my sobriety by going to meetings I could do every day. I chair several meetings a week.
So I'm just taking a look at your case. So it looks like your last felony conviction was in 2019.
Yeah, it's just haunted me for all these years.
And then your newest charges that we're talking about here today relate to February of 2022. And you said you're no longer on parole, is that correct?
Right.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a hearing date of July 24th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing of July 28th at 8:30. I'm going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services.
Thank you, ma'am.
You'll still have written conditions of release. You'll also get an envelope with your paperwork. You need to read those instructions and contact pretrial services once you've been released. If you fail to appear at these hearings, a warrant will issue for your arrest and you'll be held on bond at the next hearing. Did you have any further questions, sir?
Thank you very much, Ron. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. If you'll take a seat out there, we'll get that paperwork to you. Ms. Claiborne to the podium. David to the chair. Good morning, ma'am. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Sienna Claiborne, 68398.
Thank you. It does look like you are here for a Term 1 violation and 3 probation cases. I'm going to appoint an attorney, and you're going to have a probation revocation hearing July 16th at 8:30. That applies to all 3 cases. You have a secured appearance bond of $250 in each case for a total of $750. If you post bond, you have written conditions of release. It will include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. You also need to ensure you attend that hearing. Otherwise, a failure to appear warrant will issue and you'll forfeit any bond you've posted. Did you have any questions?
No.
Okay, ma'am, if you'll step to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. David to the podium and Daniel to the chair. Good morning, can I get your name and date of birth?
David Slobodnik, June 1st, 1962.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a failure to appear bench warrant for some pending drug charges. I'll affirm the attorney previously appointed to represent you and set a status conference July 16th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $450 in this case. If that bond is posted, you have written conditions of release. It will include not possessing any drugs without a valid prescription, and you may not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. All of that will be included in your paperwork. Did you have any questions? Okay, sir, if you'll step to your left, the officer will give you that paperwork. Daniel to the podium and Jason to the chair. Good morning, can I get your name and date of birth?
Dario Martinez, 6/14/1991.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a probation violation warrant with allegations you violated terms 3 and 5 of your probation. I'm appointing an attorney to represent you and setting a probation revocation hearing July 16th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond of $100. If that bond is posted, you'll have written conditions of release that will include not possessing any weapons or alcohol and contacting your probation officer within 72 hours. You'll need to ensure you attend that hearing. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest and you'll forfeit any bond you've posted. Did you have any questions?
No, it's secured bond of $100. I mean, then you owe me 10% and...
If you contact a bail bonding company.
Okay.
Okay. Anything further? Okay, just up to your left, sir, they'll give you that paperwork. Jason to the podium and Patrice to the chair. Good morning, can I get your name and date of birth?
Jason McLean, 2/19/03.
Thank you, sir. It does look like you are here on a justice court warrant for 1 count of criminal damage with an offense date of December 26, 2024, and failing to appear at a hearing on February 20th, 2025. As a result, this warrant issued March 10th, 2025. Due to the nature of your charges, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You're going to have an arraignment hearing July 29th at 9 a.m. in the Santan Justice Court. I'm going to release you today on your own recognizance. It is your promise to appear at that hearing. You have written conditions of release. You are not to possess any drugs without a valid prescription, and you're not to drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. If you fail to appear at the next hearing, a warrant will issue for your arrest, and you'll be held on bond at the next hearing. Did you have any questions, sir?
Yeah, I never got like told I had a warrant, and my PO never told me anything. I've been checking on my PO like every month.
It is with the Justice Court, so I don't know what access they have through the Justice Courts. It looks like there was a citation issued in January. I'm not sure if that citation that was provided had the hearing date.
Was it for the broken phone?
Because it's a Justice Court case, unfortunately, I can't see specific details. All I know is it's for a criminal damage, so that could explain it. And that was an offense date of December of 2024. So if that date sounds about right, that could be the offense. And they've indicated you failed to appear at a hearing in February on that. So the paperwork we'll give you today will have the date, time, and location for July 29th. Make sure you go to that, otherwise another warrant will issue, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Just up to your left, they'll give you that paperwork. Beatrice to the podium and Jay to the chair. Good morning. Can I get your name and date of birth?
Beatrice B. Martinez, 3362.
Thank you, ma'am. It does look like you are here on a Justice Court warrant from the Kyrene Justice Court. It relates to a shoplifting charge from November 27th of 2020 and failing to appear at a hearing on January 5th, 2021. Due to the nature of your charges, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel, but you can hire an attorney at your own expense. You're going to have an arraignment hearing on July 30th at 9:30 in the Kyrene Justice Court. I am going to release you today on your own recognizance. That is your promise to appear at that hearing. You have written conditions of release that will include not possessing any drugs without a valid prescription, and you may not drive a motor vehicle without a valid driver's license. You need to ensure you attend that hearing on July 30th. If you fail to appear, another warrant will issue, and you'll be held on bond at the next hearing. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, so step to your left. They'll give you that paperwork. Thank you, ma'am. If I can have Jay to the podium and Jonas to the chair. We're going to recall your case. Could you please give me your name and date of birth again?
J. Rushton, December 24th of 1968.
Thank you, sir. I did look. I'm not able to find anything even on public access, and I just have the justice card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to release you today on your own recognizance. That means I'm going to have to give you a different hearing date. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue again, and you'll likely be held on bond at your next hearing, okay?
I greatly appreciate that. Like I said, I had a phone call or something. I've followed everything they told me to do, and I'm just baffled yesterday. I'm just like, whoa, what in the world?
And I appreciate that, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and release you today. Your new hearing date will be July 30th at 9 a.m.
Yes,
in the East Mesa Justice Court. Date, time, location will be in your paperwork. They do need to reprint it, so if you'll take a seat up there, they'll bring that to you, okay?
Thank you so much, and I appreciate your time and your everything.
Thank you, sir.
Just thank you. Thank you.
Good luck. Jonas to the podium. Do you need a Spanish interpreter? Yes. Okay. Just one moment.
Okay.
And thank you, officer.
Sandra, ID 39644. I will be just an interpreter today. I'm ready for your instructions.
Good morning, ma'am. We have one case on the calendar, and we will go ahead and get started. Good morning, sir. Could I please get your name and date of birth?
Hola, buenos días, señor. Ma'am, can I introduce myself?
Sí.
Ma'am, can I introduce myself? Hola, buenas, señor. Seré su intérprete el día de hoy. Hola, señor. Seré su intérprete el día de hoy. ¿Me podría facilitar su nombre, por favor? Nombre, apellido, fecha de nacimiento.
Jonás Alberto Garay Murillo. Fecha de nacimiento es...
Jonás Alberto. De momento.
Garay Murillo.
Garay Murillo. Gracias, señor. Garay
Sí.
Murillo. ¿Su fecha de nacimiento?
El 22 de octubre del 2004.
Okay, ma'am. It's going to be Jonás Alberto Garay Murillo, 10/22/2004.
Thank you, sir. We are here today on a new case.
Muchísimas gracias, señor. Estamos aquí el día de hoy para un nuevo caso.
Sí.
It includes one count of theft means of transportation, a Class 3 felony.
Okay, este sería solo una cuenta con lo que tiene que ver con felonía. Con lo que tiene que ver con felonía, señor, o delito grave.
We're here on one count of theft means of transportation.
Estamos aquí con solo una cuenta de lo que tiene que ver con transporte.
That's a Class 3 felony.
Okay.
Este sería una clase de delito grave.
And one count of threat, a Class 1 misdemeanor.
Y una cuenta de... Can you repeat that one more time, ma'am? Misdemeanor.
One count of threat, a Class 1 misdemeanor.
Y una cuenta por amenaza, que sería un delito menor.
Okay.
And just to clarify, it's one count of theft means of transportation. So theft of a vehicle.
Y solo para clarificar una vez más, señor, se refiere a lo que tuvo que ver con transportación. Es la razón por la cual estamos aquí el día de hoy.
Okay.
Probable cause has been found.
Lo que es la causa, este ha sido declarado.
I'm appointing an attorney to represent you.
Vamos a poner un abogado para que les represente. Un abogado para que represente.
Sí.
Okay, ma'am.
You'll have a hearing July 16th at 8:30.
July 16, ma'am.
July 16th.
8:30.
Correct.
Okay, señor. Usted tiene día de corte julio 16 a las 8:30 de la mañana.
¿En dónde?
Where?
The Downtown Superior Courthouse on Madison Street.
Okay, señor. Sería en la corte Downtown Madison Street.
Okay.
Okay.
You will also have a hearing July 18th at 8:30.
Usted también tiene corte para el día julio 18 a las 8:30.
Okay.
Date, time, and location will be in the paperwork we give you.
Sí.
El día y lugar de donde está ubicado estará en el papel que le daré.
Okay.
You have a secured appearance bond of $5,000.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
You have a secured appearance bond of
Okay.
You have a secured appearance bond of $5,000.
Okay, señor, usted tiene un seguro de lo que es su penalía de $5,000 como multa.
Okay. Sí.
Okay, ma'am. Yes.
If you post bond, you have written conditions of release.
Si usted paga esta fianza, usted sería liberado.
Okay. ¿Puedo salir para empezarla a pagar?
Can I go out for me to start paying?
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am. Can I go out for me to start paying?
You will not be released until the bond is paid.
Usted no será liberado hasta que la fianza sea pagada.
Okay.
Okay.
Your written conditions include not returning to the scene of the crime.
Sus condiciones serán no volver a la escena del crimen.
Okay.
Okay.
No contact with the victim.
No tiene que tener contacto con la víctima.
Okay.
Okay.
And you may not possess any weapons.
Y tampoco puede poseer ningún arma de fuego.
Okay.
Did you have any questions?
¿Tiene alguna pregunta?
¿Me puedo comunicar con familiares?
Can I communicate with family members?
Yes, you will be given access to a phone when you get to the back.
Okay.
Sí, señor. Va a tener acceso a un teléfono cuando vaya a la parte trasera.
Okay.
Okay.
If you step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Okay.
Okay, señor. Si se pone a la izquierda, el oficial le dará un papeles.
Okay. Gracias.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
And that does conclude our Spanish interpreter matters this morning. I appreciate your assistance. Feel free to disconnect at your convenience.
My pleasure, ma'am. My pleasure, ma'am. Thank you for using our services. Have a great day, ma'am.
Thank you. You too. That does conclude our 5 a.m. calendar. We will now stand in recess until 8 a.m.
All right.
Good morning, you may be seated. Good morning, this is the time set for the 8 a.m. initial appearance calendar for July 10th, 2025. The court's orders for the taking of fingerprints and DNA samples made on the 1st of this month will apply to all matters on this calendar. I am Commissioner Dyer. There's a couple of things that I want to explain to you before we get started. First, I'm going to be calling each of you up to the podium one by one, where I will ask for your first and last name and your date of birth. I will then advise you to why you are here and as to whether or not an attorney has been appointed to you. I will then advise you to what your upcoming court dates will be. Then I will advise you of what your bond is if you are eligible for bond and what your release conditions will be. Some of you may have some questions while I'm providing this advisement. I just ask that you hold your questions until I complete the advisement. In addition, because this is a recorded proceeding and anything that you say could be used against you, you are strongly advised to keep your questions related only to your release conditions and not about the facts of your case. Any legal questions that you have should be directed towards your attorney. The first person that I'm going to call to the podium is Anthony Reyes. And Mr. Kelsling, if you'll please have a seat in the chair by the door. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Anthony Reyes, January 19, 1982.
You are here today because a grand jury charged you with 4 counts of burglary in the 3rd degree, a class 4 felony, alleged to have occurred on December 19th, 2024. 2 counts occurring on January 22nd of 2025, and 1 count occurring on January 30th of 2025. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You will have an arraignment hearing on July 17th at 8:30. According to the grand jury warrant, you are not bondable at this time because you were on felony release at the time that the alleged offenses occurred. That takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this morning. If you have no questions for me,
Are you just gonna I'm already here. I'm already on some other cases. They're just gonna put them all together. Like, is that what's gonna happen? Because I already got a attorney for the same. It's the same kind of case.
it'll probably be your attorney who makes the request that everything be prosecuted at the same time. I wouldn't do that at this point.
Okay, cool. Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Kessling, will you please come to the podium, and Mr. McMaster, if you'll please have a seat in the chair by the door.
Good morning.
Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
David Kissling, 42386.
You are here today because a direct complaint was filed where you were charged with 2 counts of aggravated DUI, driving with a license that was suspended for a previous DUI, class 4 felony. The date of these alleged offenses is May 8th of 2024. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30. You have a preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30. Because you were on felony release at the time that these alleged offenses occurred, you are not eligible for bond today by statute, so I did schedule an evidentiary hearing for you for July 17th at 1:30.
Okay.
This completes my advisement to you. If you have no questions for me, if you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Mr. McMaster, if you will please come to the podium, and Miss Christine Jimenez, if you'll please have a seat in the chair by the door. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
James McMaster, 9/20/91.
You are here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of aggravated assault, using a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument, a class 3 felony. 1 count of aggravated assault, impeding breathing, a class 4 felony. 1 count of unlawful imprisonment, a class 1 misdemeanor. 1 count of disorderly conduct involving fighting, a class 1 misdemeanor. 1 count of assault with an intent to injure, a class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 count of preventing or interfering with the use of a telephone in an emergency, a class 2 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all of the counts. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You do have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30. You have a preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50,000. If you are able to post bond, you'll be released to pretrial services on electronic monitoring. You would have the following release conditions. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You cannot possess any weapons. I'm so sorry. I need to fix this one. You're also not to have any contact with the, you're not to have any contact with the alleged victim.
That's fine.
I'm not done. If there are any orders of protection or orders against harassment that have been issued, you must comply with those orders. You cannot reside at the same location as the alleged victim. You are permitted one civil standby with local law enforcement to assist you in collecting your essential belongings. You're also advised that if you fail to comply with the no victim contact order in this case, you could be charged with aggravated harassment, which is a class 6 felony. Failure to comply with your release conditions or to appear for your court dates would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. That completes my advisement to you. If you have no questions for me, if you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
I just didn't hear what the bond amount was.
$50,000 secured appearance, so it's 10% plus collateral of $50,000.
Okay.
His amended paperwork. I had to correct that order. Ms. Jimenez, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Gerke, if you will please have a seat in the chair by the door. Ma'am, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Christine Dolores Jimenez. My birthday is 12/21/1978.
You are here today on 2 matters. You have a warrant out of Navajo County Superior Court, and you have a warrant out of Tolleson Municipal Court. As to your warrant out of the Navajo County Superior Court, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You have an arraignment hearing on July 15th at 8:30. According to the warrant, you are not eligible for bond today. The reason for the warrant is a violation of probation. And then as to your warrant out of Tolleson Municipal Court, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You will have an arraignment hearing on July 21st at 8:30. I gave you a placeholder bond in the amount of $50. That's to ensure that you are transported to your court date in Tolleson. I would caution you against attempting to post bond. Paying the bond will not secure your release because you are being held not bondable in another
Yeah, I
matter.
know.
Okay.
Okay.
So this takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this morning. If you have no questions for me, if you'll step to your left, I'll give you paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Gerke, will you please come to the podium, and Raya Holtz, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Will you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Thomas Gerke, 10/23/76.
You are here today because you have a warrant out of Yavapai County Superior Court. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on July 15th at 8:30. You have according to the warrant, you have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $25,000, secured appearance. If you are able to post bond, you do need to make sure that you appear for your court date. If you fail to appear for your court date, that would result in the loss of any bond that you post. Another warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed.
Another warrant?
If you post bond and you fail to appear for your court date, another warrant would issue for your arrest.
Okay, what is the warrant anyway, or what was it that I got?
Your warrant is out of Yavapai County Superior Court, and the warrant says that the offense is a violation of probation.
Oh, it's failure to appear?
No, it just says violation. You asked me what it was for, or what does the warrant say?
No,
I'm telling you what the warrant it says. I don't have any other information outside of what's on the warrant. I don't have access to Yavapai Superior Court to look into it any further. I can only just look at the warrant, and that's what it says. Okay?
Okay, do you know how long I have?
I don't know. I don't understand that question. I'm sorry. What do you mean how long you have?
No, I just wondered how long I was in jail for.
Oh, well, your court date is on July 15th at 8:30. Yavapai County should be picking you up prior to that date.
What's the second?
Yavapai County should be picking you up before July 15th. That's your next court date. They'll pick you up before then.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So have a seat in the back row on the left.
Mr. Holt, will you please come to the podium? And Ms. Victoria Thompson, will you please have a seat in the chair?
Make that big time. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Hello, sir. Good morning. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Rasha Holt, 8/21/1971.
You are here today because a direct complaint was filed where you were charged with one count of misconduct involving weapons, a class 4 felony. The date of that alleged offense is July 3rd, 2025. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30. The direct complaint warrant had a cash appearance bond only in the amount of $25,000. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime and you cannot possess any weapons. Failure to comply with your release conditions or failure to appear for your court date would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this morning. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, could you lower my bond?
I can't lower your bond.
I originally had a bond for $7,500.
So this looks like it's something different. I don't, so I will, hold on a second. I believe that I looked at everything that was happening. You were seen on July 3rd.
I was arrested on July 3rd.
So you were seen in court, and at that time, it looks like you had a bond. It looks like charges were not filed, and so now charges have been filed. And based on the information that was presented that resulted in the filing of a direct complaint, that judicial officer ordered a cash bond in the amount of $25,000. I don't have access to the information that was considered.
I went to jail on July 3rd, ma'am.
Right, right. And then
And I had a court date on the 9th, which was yesterday.
Okay.
I didn't go to it. They refiled charges on me, the same
So that's
charge.
what this is. It doesn't look like it's the same charge, because when you were...
Misconduct.
So I'm trying to answer your question,
Okay, sorry
and so if you continue to interrupt me,
Excuse me,
then we're
excuse me.
not really I'm not answering anything.
Sorry, excuse me.
Okay, so when I looked at your release order from July 3rd, when you were seen, you were charged with possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, and then you were also charged with DUI. Now, looking, and the date of those alleged offenses was July 3rd.
Yeah.
So when I look at what was filed, what you were charged with, you were not charged with the DUI, you were just charged with the possession of a weapon by a prohibited person. That's what the charge was. I don't know what other information, that's what I'm trying to explain to you, that a direct complaint was filed. When a direct complaint is filed, information is provided to the judicial officer. They make a finding of probable cause, like I would do if something new would come in front of me, and then they make a determination of what your bond should be and what your release conditions would be. According to the direct complaint, this is a cash bond in the amount of $25,000. The reason for the bond is based on your past criminal history. This offense involved a firearm, and you are looking at potentially a lot of DOC time.
A lot of DOC time?
Yes. It says significant DOC time.
Significant
So
DOC.
those are the reasons why the bond was set. And that's the only explanation that I received. I don't have any other information. So I do not change orders when I don't have the same information that a judicial officer looked at in making a determination of what your bond should be. So that's what your bond is. You have an attorney that's appointed to you. You'll be seen, you'll have court on next Monday. That'll be your first hearing at 8:30, so hopefully your attorney will see you before then. And any other requests, just because I'm not changing the bond today, does not mean that can't happen down the road. Your attorney can file for a modification of bond later, but today I'm not changing it because I don't have enough information to do so.
Okay, can I speak with you? May I speak
Yes.
with you? I was arrested July 3rd.
I understand that.
I fell asleep at the light. Had a firearm.
You're talking about your case, and I've advised you not to do that.
Okay, take that. I can't get no bond. I was $7,500 was my bond.
I'm not changing. I just spent 5 minutes explaining to you the process. I'm not.
All right.
You may step to your left, officer. We'll give you your paperwork. Ms. Thompson, will you please come to the podium, and Mr. Lee?
Bagel? No, Victoria. Well, that's the same job.
Victoria Thompson. Good morning, ma'am. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Victoria Thompson, 7/31/65.
You are here today because you have a probation violation warrant. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on July 17th at 8:30. Your warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. If you're able to post bond, you do need to make sure that you appear for your court date. If you fail to appear for your court date, that would result in the loss of any bond that you post. Another warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond would be imposed. This completes my advisement to you. If you have no questions for me regarding your release conditions, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
I can go.
Our hearing is concluded. You have a bond. Mr. Lee, will you please come to the podium, and Mr. Vasquez, will you please have a seat in the chair? Oh, sir, will you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Connor Lee, August 31st, 1994.
You are here today because a warrant was issued when you failed to appear for a court date. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in this matter. You have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30, and you have a preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30. Your warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. If you are able to post bond, you do need to make sure you appear for your court dates. Failure to do so would result in the loss of any bond that you post. Another warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of my advisement to you. If you have no questions for me, if you'll step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork.
Sir, have a seat. That's it.
Mr. Siha or Sia, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Will you please state your first last name and your date of birth?
Alejandro Vasquez, 10893.
You are here today because you have 2 probation violation warrants. You have 1 new case, and you have a warrant out of Peoria Municipal Court. I'm going to first talk to you about your new case. You were charged with 1 count of criminal trespass, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of criminal damage, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to both counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30, and you have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. As to your probation violation warrants, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in those matters. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on July 17th at 8:30. Each of those warrants had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $100. And as to your warrant out of Peoria Municipal Court, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on July 15th at 9 o'clock, and you have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. So between all of your cases, you have a total secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,250. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim, and you cannot possess any weapons. You must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of your release. Failure to appear for your court dates will result in the loss of any bond that you post. Warrants will issue for your arrest, and additional bond would be imposed. This takes care of everything I needed to advise you of. If you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Siha or Sia, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your last name. If you'll please come to the podium. And Mr. Ross, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Armando Ceja, 1025 and 1999.
You are here on 2 matters. You have 1 new case, and then you have a warrant out of Apache Junction Municipal Court. On your new case, you were charged with 3 counts of organized retail theft, a Class 4 felony. The date of the offenses is July 9th, 2025. I did find probable cause as to the counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You do have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500. Then as to your warrant out of Apache Junction, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have an arraignment hearing on July 15th at 8:30. That warrant had a cash-only bond in the amount of $1,000. So between your 2 cases, you have a total of $3,500, with one part of that is cash-only $1,000. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You cannot initiate any contact with your alleged victim. Failure to comply with your release conditions or to appear for your court dates would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond would be imposed. This completes my advisement to you. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork. Mr. Ross, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Loper, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Jesse Ross, 1398.
You are here today because you have a warrant out of Manistee Justice Court. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on July 15th at 10:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. If you are able to post bond, you must appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond would be imposed. I will let you know that your original bond, the recommended bond, was for $1,175.
Oh, wow, okay.
So
Okay.
if you fail to appear after posting this bond, and if you come back before me, I will impose the original bond.
Okay.
Okay, so that takes care of everything that I have to advise you of. If you have no questions for me, if you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Loper, if you'll please come to the podium. Hello, sir. Will you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Edward Loper, 12587.
Thank you. You are here today because you have a warrant out of North Valley Justice Court. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on July 15th at 8:30. I'll let you know that I was researching. It looks like you're being held on other matters. So I gave you a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. It's a placeholder bond. It's just to make sure that if you are still in our custody, that you get transported to this hearing so you can take care of this matter. So if you're able to postpone in any of your matters, make sure that you appear for your court date. Failure to appear would result in the loss of any bond that you post. Warrants will issue for your arrest and additional bond can be imposed.
Can you tell me what this charge is?
This is a warrant from North Valley Justice Court. The original charge was for criminal trespass, and the date of that alleged offense is from October 10th, 2020.
Wow. 5 years ago, huh? So I'm in here for a second-degree murder. Why would they bring up a misdemeanor?
When I looked up your case, it looks like you're about to be sentenced soon.
Yeah.
And
I got a trial next month.
So, okay. Do you have multiple cases? Because I saw
Yeah,
that.
I have 2 cases.
So, on one of them, it looks like you're going to sentencing, and then I saw the trial for this one. So, typically, when your matters are wrapping up, they want to make sure that all your warrants are taken care of, so they probably ran a warrants check and saw this one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that all your legal matters will be taken care of.
Yeah.
That's it. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. Mr. Jace, will you please come to the podium? And Ms. Bustillos, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Good morning, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Jim Jace, 11469.
You are here today because you have a probation violation warrant. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on July 17th at 8:30. Your warrant, you have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $100. If you are able to post bond, you do need to make sure you appear for your court date. Failure to appear would result in the loss of any bond that you post. Another warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything I needed to advise you of. If you have no questions for me, if you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Bustillos, if you'll please come to the podium, and Ms. Abrego, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Good morning. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
My name is Veronica Bustillos. My date of birth is 4/15/89.
You are here today because a warrant was issued when you failed to appear for a court date. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in this matter. You do have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30. You have a cash-only appearance bond in the amount of $500. If you are able to post bond, you do need to make sure you appear for your court date. Failure to appear for your court date would result in a loss of any bond that you post. Another warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Ms. Abrego, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Bentley, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, ma'am. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Lucia Abrego, 11688.
You are here today on a, one new case, and then you have a probation violation warrant. On your new case, you were charged with 1 count of criminal trespass of a residential structure, a Class 6 felony. I did find probable cause. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a status conference hearing on July 16th. Ma'am, are you okay?
Uh-huh.
Because I've watched you almost fall over twice.
Huh?
She's almost fallen down twice.
Are you all right? Listen up. Pay attention.
You have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim, and you cannot have any contact with the alleged co-defendant. Failure to comply with your release conditions or to appear for your court date would result in loss of any bond that you post. As to your violation of probation warrant, I appointed an attorney for you in that matter. You have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on July 17th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. Your total secured appearance bond is $500 between the two cases. Please make sure that you appear for your court dates. I think that's it. If you don't have any questions for me.
Go ahead.
Mr. Bentley, will you please come to the podium? Mr. Davis, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Mr. Bentley.
All right, lady, water dog.
Okay. So then we will, Mr. Davis, if you'll please come to the podium. So, sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Tyree Davis, 05/30/2002.
You were here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of theft of means of transportation, a Class 3 felony. The date of the alleged offense is June 16th of 2025. I did find probable cause as to this offense, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You do have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30. I know that you were seen earlier, and I did review the prior release order.
Yes, I was gonna say, I was already here on that, so I was confused on why I already...
This is a new charge?
Yes, ma'am.
So, and I saw the bond. I guess the question I have for you, were you getting ready to post bond?
Yeah, they already paid the bond.
Okay.
So I was waiting on it.
Okay. So I'm gonna edit, that's why I'm asking you the question,
Yes,
because so I'm gonna change the order, because it appeared that that might have been the case. So I am going to, release you to, pretrial services on this matter.
Yes, ma'am.
The court makes a record that the defendant, was being held on bond in a related matter, and defendant, alleges that bond has been posted. Has bond been posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I was in the middle of the process of waiting, so that's what I was...
So they ran a warrant check on you or something before they released you?
Yeah.
Okay. So just give me a minute, I'm gonna go ahead and fix the order.
Okay.
And if I'm not mistaken, you were such like a $7,500. It was $7,500?
It was, she said it was $250 for my warrant and $50 for the debt. So it was $300 total.
Okay, then I'm confusing you with another case.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to release you to pretrial services. So your court date will now, okay. So your court date will be July 24th at 8:30 for your status conference hearing, and your preliminary hearing will be July 28th at 8:30. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim. Please be advised that if you do not comply with your release conditions, and just a reminder for both cases, on the one that you do have a bond on, that if you don't comply with your release conditions, if you don't appear for court, your bond would, you would lose the bond that you posted in the other matter. Warrants would issue for both cases. An additional bond could be imposed. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this completes my advisement to you. If you have no questions for me, if you will step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Bentley is in the court.
Mr. Bentley, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Briceño, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you state your first and last name for me?
Brandon Bentley,
And your date of birth?
4/5/93.
Thank you. You are here today on a new case. I just want to ask the deputies this first. I have a note that he was awaiting to be seen in Phoenix City Court. Has that happened?
Negative, ma'am.
Okay. You were here on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30. I'm giving you a cash-only appearance bond in the amount of $5 because I know that you have another matter in Phoenix City Court. If you end up getting held by them, I want to make sure that you are able to be transported for your court dates here, okay? You have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8. I'm so sorry, I said that already. So anyways, if you're able to postpone, you can't return to the scene of the alleged crime. You do need to make sure that you appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in the loss of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. That takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Ms. Alicia Vejavoda? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Briceño, will you please come to the podium? And Ms. Vejavoda, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Thank you so much. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Yeah, Justin Briceño, 09/92, or 09/10/92.
You are here today because a grand jury charged you with 2 counts of theft or control of property, a Class 3 felony. One of the date of the alleged offense is January 20th of 2024. The next one is May 6th of 2024. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on July 17th at 8:30. I am going to release you to pretrial services. You do have to promise to appear for your court dates. Do you promise to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
Failure to appear for your court date would result in a warrant issuing for your arrest and a bond being imposed. I do want to advise you that you have the following release conditions. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, and you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victims. You must also comply with those orders as well. This completes my advisement to you. If you have no questions for me, so please step to your left. The officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Vejavoda, if you'll please come to the podium, and Mr. Garrett, if you'll please have a seat in that chair.
Right here?
No, right.
Right here.
Yep. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Alicia Vejavoda, January 12th, 1980.
You are here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of criminal trespass of a residential yard, a Class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable causes to both counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a status conference hearing on July 24th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 28th at 8:30. I will tell you that I was wavering in between whether or not to impose a bond or to release you to pretrial services. I'm inclined to release you to pretrial services, but you do have to promise to appear for your court date.
Oh, I will be there.
And you have to comply with the following release conditions. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, and you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim. Failure to comply with your release conditions or failure to appear for your court date will result in a warrant issuing for your arrest and a bond will be imposed. Do you understand?
Yes. So
Okay.
they're gonna let me go today?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
If you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Mr. Williams, will you please come to the podium, and Jeremy Griffin, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Will you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Garrett Williams, 12/26/1989.
You were here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of fraud, schemes, or practice to conceal a Class 5 felony, 16 counts of false statements to obtain benefits, a Class 6 felony, and 16 counts of theft by misrepresentation, a Class 6 felony. The date of these alleged offenses is June 7th of 2020. I did find probable I'm sorry, this is not. This was a direct complaint. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a preliminary hearing on July 14th at 8:30. I am inclined to release you to pretrial services. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear?
Yes, absolutely.
You also have a warrant at a surprise municipal court. I did not appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter because due to the nature of the charge, you are not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You do have an arraignment hearing on August 5th at 1:30. In this matter, I am also going to release you on your own recognizance. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear?
Yes.
Failure to comply with your release conditions or to appear for your court dates will result in warrants issuing for your arrest, and bond would be imposed. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have no questions for me?
So for this issue and the surprise issue, I'll be going home today?
Yes. Mr. Griffin, will you please come to the podium, and Mr. Fiantaka, if you'll please have a seat in the chair.
Hello, Your Honor.
Will you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Jeremy Griffin, 4387.
Thank you. You are here today because you have a warrant out of Desert Ridge Justice Court. Due to the nature of the offense, you are not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You do have an arraignment hearing on July 28th at 1:30. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance today. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear for your court date?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will let you know that the recommended bond for you is $500. This was the first warrant that was issued for failing to appear, so I'm giving you an opportunity to take care of it. If you fail to appear for your court date, another warrant's going to issue, and if you come back, that bond will be imposed. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so if you have no questions for me, if you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you. And the date is on there?
The date is on there.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mr. Fiantaka, if you'll please come to the podium, and Mr. Cade, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Dominic Fiantaka. It's 05/22/2007.
You are here today because you have a warrant. I'm sorry, no. You're here on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of unlawful flight from law enforcement, a Class 5 felony, and 1 count of reckless driving, a Class 2 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to both counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on July 24th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 28th at 8:30. I'm inclined to release you to pretrial services. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear for your court date?
Yes.
Please be advised that if you fail to appear for your court date, a warrant will issue for your arrest and a bond will be imposed. Do you understand?
Yes.
This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
Sir, have a seat on the line in the back.
Okay. Mr. Cade, will you please come to the podium? Sir, will you state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Name DeArdre Cade, 9486.
Thank you. You are here today for a new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of a dangerous drug, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a class 6 felony. I did find probable cause as to both counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a status conference hearing on July 24th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 28th at 8:30. I am inclined to release you to pretrial services. You do have to promise to appear for your court dates. Do you promise to appear?
Yes.
Failing to appear for your court date, oh, I'm so sorry. I do need to make an edit on this one. One of your release conditions is that you cannot have any contact with your co-defendant. Is that, okay, it looks like is that showing on the release order? Because when I'm looking at it, it wasn't showing. Okay, so you can't have any contact with your alleged co-defendant. Failure to comply with your release conditions could result in failing to appear for your court dates could result in a warrant issuing for your arrest and a bond would be imposed. This completes my advisement to you. If you have no questions for me, the step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you.
Mr. Carter, will you please come to the podium? Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Edwin Carter, 6673.
Thank you. You are here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, a class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a class 6 felony, 1 count of tampering with physical evidence or attempting to destroy or alter, a class 6 felony, 1 count of imitating a controlled substance for manufacturing and distribution, a class 6 felony. I did find probable cause as to all the counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $10,000. As to your 2 probation violation matters, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in those matters. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on July 17th at 8:30. Each of those probation violation warrants has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. So your total secured appearance bond between 3 cases is $10,500. If you are able to post bond, okay, can you look on yours and see? Yes. Okay, it's not showing on my site. So you're not to have any contact with the alleged co-defendant. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appearing for court will result in the loss of any bond that you post. Warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This completes my advisement to you. Thank you. Ms. Fisher, are you able to hear the court?
Yes, Your Honor. Sylvia Fisher, court interpreter.
Thank you. Mr. Salcedo, if you'll please come to the podium.
Good morning.
Señor Salcedo, al podio.
Mr. Salcedo, you have advised the court that you are in need of an interpreter.
Señor Salcedo, usted ha informado al juzgado que necesita los servicios de un intérprete.
So as the court is asking you questions, you must wait for the interpreter to interpret before you respond.
Entonces, el juzgado le va a plantear una serie de preguntas. Usted tiene que esperar hasta que el intérprete termine de interpretar para contestar.
Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Por favor, diga su nombre completo y su fecha de nacimiento.
Diego Dextre, April 23, 89.
Diego Dextre, 4/23/89.
You responded in English.
My bad. Okay, mi culpa.
Usted contestó en inglés. Sorry.
Sí,
Do you need an interpreter?
Necesito un intérprete.
You were here today because you were charged with one count of aggravated luring a minor for sexual exploitation, a Class 2 felony.
Usted se encuentra aquí por un punto acusatorio de engatusamiento a un menor para explotación sexual, delito de clase 2.
I did find probable cause as to that offense.
Determino que hay fundamento de procesamiento en cuanto a esa acusación.
I did appoint an attorney to represent you.
He designado a un abogado para representarlo.
You have a status conference hearing on July 16th at 8:30.
Tiene usted una audiencia actualización el 16 de julio a las 8:30 de la mañana.
You have a preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30.
Una audiencia preliminar el 18 de julio a las 8:30 de la mañana.
You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $75,000.
Tiene usted una fianza carcelaria con garantía que asciende a $75,000.
If you are able to post bond, you'll be released to pretrial services on electronic monitoring.
Si usted llega a pagar la fianza, estaría bajo la supervisión de la Agencia de Control de Procesados con el monitoreo electrónico.
You cannot have any contact with minors.
No puede tener ningún.
You cannot access the internet through any electronic means.
Puede tener acceso a la internet ni a través de ningún tipo de medio electrónico.
And you cannot possess any weapons.
Y no puede tener en su poder ningún tipo de arma.
Failure to comply with your release conditions.
Si usted no cumple con sus condiciones de libertad,
or failure to appear for your court dates,
o si no comparece a sus citas judiciales,
will result in the loss of any bond that you post.
Puede dar lugar a la pérdida de cualquier fianza que llegue a depositar.
A warrant would issue for your arrest.
Emitirá una orden para su detención.
And additional bond would be imposed.
Fijará una fianza adicional.
This completes my advisement to you.
Con eso termino el aviso, señor.
If you have no questions for me,
si no tiene preguntas para mí,
please step to your left and the officer will give you your paperwork.
Pasa a su lado izquierdo y el oficial entregará a usted su documentación.
Tengo una pregunta. Tengo dos preguntas.
I have a question.
I just want to remind you that you should not ask any questions regarding your case, and your questions should only be about, sorry.
No, go ahead, Your Honor.
Your questions should only be about your release conditions.
Le quiero recordar que no debe plantear ninguna pregunta en cuanto a su caso. Sus preguntas solamente deben tratar de sus condiciones de libertad.
Okay, no puedo usar mi celular. No entendí bien.
Okay, I can't use my cell phone. I didn't understand that part very well.
You cannot use your cell phone to access the internet.
No puede usar su teléfono celular para acceder a la internet.
Okay, sí puedo llamar.
But I can call.
You can use the cell phone to call.
Para
sí,
ver
puede usar
mis cuentas de banco.
Puede usar su teléfono celular para llamar. And what about my bank accounts?
I don't understand what you're asking me for your bank account.
¿Puedo puedo utilizar mi celular para abrir mis cuentas de banco para pagar?
Well, I want to know if I can use my cell phone to open up my bank accounts to make payments.
Sir, I'm going to explain to you the very serious nature of what's happening here.
Señor, le voy a explicar la gravedad de los ilícitos en su contra.
You've been charged with a serious felony offense that if you are convicted, you will be facing a lot of time in prison.
Se le acusa de un delito muy grave y si se lo condena, se enfrentará a una pena muy larga en la penitenciaría.
The facts that I considered in making a probable cause finding here today
Los hechos que he considerado al determinar si había fundamento de procesamiento en cuanto a la acusación en su contra
is that you were using your cell phone
es que usted estaba usando su teléfono celular
Oh,
to basically solicit.
oh, I got it.
Okay, so you can go to the bank to take care of whatever you need to take care of, and you are also able to write checks to pay your bills.
usted puede acudir al banco para resolver cualquier tema en el banco. También puede emitir un cheque para pagar sus biles.
Do you have any other questions?
Preguntas adicionales.
Una última pregunta. En mi billetera está mi tarjeta para poder pagar la fianza. ¿Puedo tener acceso a mi billetera?
So in my wallet, I have my card to be able to pay the bond. Can I have access to my wallet?
That you would have to talk to the deputies about how they secure your property and how you would go about paying your bond.
Usted tendría que hablar con los oficiales acerca cómo si puede acceder a su propiedad para poder pagar su fianza.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if there's nothing further, you'll step to your left officer. We'll give you the office. Does that make any changes? Okay. All right. So if you'll go ahead.
Con eso se levanta la sesión, pasa a su lado izquierdo y el oficial entregará a usted su documentación.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. That was our last interpreter matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This concludes our 8 a.m. initial appearance calendar. We stand in recess until 11 a.m.
Now, all right. Thank you. All right, everyone, please be seated. Thank you. The interpreter's on the line, right?
The county attorney.
Well, I'm having trouble with my hearing.
That's fine. The county attorney and the interpreter.
And interpret, okay, you've let Stacy hide her nose coming toward the end, right?
She hasn't come out.
Oh, she's there, okay.
But the county attorney is logged in.
Tell him it's the same thing, I don't know if any other case he's gonna want to appear on. Okay. All right, the interpreter, would you please identify yourself for the record, please?
Magda Lopez, court interpreter. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right, let's begin. Good morning, everybody. This is the 11 o'clock calendar on July 10th, 2025.
Buenos días a todos. Esta es la lista de causas de las 11 de la mañana del 10 de julio del 2025.
The court orders for the taking of DNA and fingerprints that were given on the first calendar of this month shall apply to all matters on this calendar.
La orden para muestras de ADN y huellas dactilares que se tomaron al 1 del mes aplican a todas las audiencias del día de hoy.
When I call your name, you'll stand behind the podium and give me your name and your date of birth.
Cuando llame su nombre, van a pasar al frente al podio, me van a dar su nombre y fecha de nacimiento.
If I say that you're on deck, that means you'll have a seat right outside the courtroom and be prepared to be called next.
Si les digo que son los siguientes, van a tomar asiento fuera de la sala de audiencias y estar listos para que se les llame.
I am not going to list all your release conditions out loud. They will be in your paperwork, so please refer to your paperwork for all your release conditions.
No voy a decir en voz alta ni sentar en acta sus medidas cautelares. Se van a encontrar en los documentos que le van a entregar cuando termine la audiencia. Por favor, refiéranse a ellos para la información.
For those for whom I set a secured appearance bond, you can go to a bondsman. It's my understanding they do collect calls.
Para los que les fije fianza, pueden llamar a una agencia fiadora. Tengo entendido que reciben llamadas por cobrar.
The names and numbers of the bonding companies are on some walls in the jail. If you cannot find one, you can ask one of the officers for assistance.
La lista de todas las agencias fiadoras las tienen en la cárcel. Si no ven una que esté puesta, pueden pedírsela a uno de los guardias.
In regard to release conditions, at a minimum, it will require that you're not to use any drugs or drug paraphernalia without a valid prescription.
En cuanto a las medidas cautelares, todas incluyen que no pueden consumir ninguna droga. Si tienen medicinas, tienen que ser con receta.
Okay. All right. Benjamin Urbaez Trinidad.
Benjamín Urbáez Trinidad.
And Dustin Brumbaugh is on deck.
Your Honor, she refreshed your screen. I moved 3 down that are still being explored.
Oh, did refresh it.
Oh, you're fine.
What's that?
I refreshed
them already to the
it. What?
bottom. There was 3 that were supposed to be being explored. I moved them to the bottom.
Which ones?
3, 4, 27. They're at the bottom.
We're not moving to the bottom.
I changed, I moved them down. 3, 4, 27.
Un momento. Okay.
They're above, they're 2 above.
Okay, let me just deal with this gentleman first. We'll deal with it, okay? All right, sir, your name and your date of birth, please.
Señor, su nombre y fecha de nacimiento, por favor.
Benjamín Urbáez Trinidad, fecha de nacimiento 14 de marzo 1995.
Benjamín Urbáez Trinidad, March 14th of 1995. Maite Lopez, court interpreter.
Okay. Sir, is Spanish your primary language?
Señor, ¿su idioma, su lengua natal es el español?
Correcto.
Correct.
Okay. Do you need the assistance of a Spanish interpreter to help you understand all the proceedings in your case today and in the future?
¿Necesita usted asistencia de intérprete para poder entender los procedimientos de hoy en el futuro?
Correcto.
Correct.
Okay. So I'm appointing the office of the court interpreter to assist you during your proceedings.
Muy bien, entonces voy a nombrar a la oficina de intérpretes del tribunal para asistirlo en todas sus diligencias.
So when you speak to your attorney, you'll have an interpreter also.
Cuando hable con su abogado, también le van a proporcionar intérpretes.
Correcto.
Correct.
Okay. Sir, you are charged with theft of means of transportation, a Class 3 felony.
Señor, está acusado por robo de un medio de transporte, delito de categoría 3.
I am appointing a lawyer to represent you.
Le voy a nombrar un abogado para que lo represente.
Correcto. Make sure you make all your court dates.
Preséntese a todas sus audiencias.
They will be at 175 West Madison Street in Phoenix at 8:30 in the morning.
Van a ser en el domicilio 175 West Madison, que es en el centro de Phoenix. Va a ser a las 8:30 la audiencia.
You'll have a status conference on July 24th, and a witness preliminary hearing at this time is scheduled for July 28th.
Tiene usted una audiencia de actualización el 24 de julio y la audiencia preliminar el 28 de julio.
Those dates will be on your paperwork, so don't lose your paperwork.
En el documento que le van a entregar van a estar las fechas, no se le vayan a perder.
Correcto. Okay. All right. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance, so you'll probably be out within about 4 hours.
Lo voy a dejar en libertad bajo palabra, quiere decir que lo van a procesar, tarda como 4 horas.
Correcto.
Correct.
Okay. Gracias.
Thank you.
Could you just make a general announcement to make sure we have no other Spanish speakers?
Of course, Your Honor. ¿Hay alguna otra persona que necesite asistencia en español? Si necesita ayuda en español, levante la mano, por favor.
No hands, Your Honor. No, very good. Thank you. Have a good morning, the rest of the day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Likewise.
Appreciate it. Okay. All right. Justin Brumbaugh with Miguel Gastelum on deck. Your name and date of birth, please.
Dustin Brumbaugh, September 3rd, 1988.
All right, sir. I'm appointing a lawyer for you, first of all, and you're charged with 3 counts of possession for sale of narcotic drugs, Class 2 felony, 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs for sale, Class 4 felony, 2 counts of possession of dangerous drugs, Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, Class 4 felony, 25 counts of possession or use of a weapon and drug offense, Class 6 felony, and 3 counts of theft of control or control of property, Class 6 felony. In regard to the theft, 3 counts of theft, at this point I don't have enough information, so I don't find probable cause on that. Doesn't mean you won't be charged with it. All right. As I said, I appointed a lawyer for you. You're not to initiate contact with any co-defendant, no weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription. Your next court dates will be at 8:30 in the morning, 175 West Madison Street, for status conference on July 16th. And at this point, a witness preliminary hearing on July 18th. If that doesn't go, your lawyer will explain to you why. Bond has been set in a cash bond only of $50,000. Step to your left, please. Miguel Gastelum with Zachary Richardson on deck. If you can just make it easier, just tell me if I call when it should be on the bottom, okay?
Oh, I already moved them down. If you refresh your screen, it should be at the bottom.
I've been refreshing it, it's not going to the bottom.
Hi, Your Honor.
Come on, hold on a second. Okay, let's. All right, so your name and date of birth, please.
Miguel Antonio Gastelum, 3/15/95.
All right, sir, you are charged with 1 count of aggravated DUI, Class 4 felony, and 1 count of driving a license, suspended, revoked, or canceled to Class 1 misdemeanor. I am appointing a lawyer for you. You'll be at 175 West Madison Street at 8:30 in the morning for a status conference on July 16th and a witness preliminary on July 18th. You cannot consume any alcohol, no drugs without a valid prescription, no driving without a valid driver's license. Bond has been set in a secured appearance bond of $2,500. If you post your bond, make sure you make your court dates, or else you could lose a bond and a warrant will issue. Okay, step to your left, please. Yeah.
So I'm not getting released?
If you post your bond.
Well, Can I say, like, I was, like, not even...
Okay, first of all, this applies for everybody, by the way. Everyone has a right to remain silent. I always recommend to people at this stage, because everything's being recorded, not to talk about the facts of your case, because it could always be used against you at a later court date, later date by the prosecutor. And I've been involved over the years with times where people want to say things and your lawyers grimace. So just be careful. All right? Okay, step to your left, please. Zachary Richardson with Anthony Walker on deck. All right, so your name and date of birth, please.
Zachary Richardson, 10/3/96.
All right, so you're charged with domestic violence charges of criminal damage, assault, and disorderly conduct. Disorderly conduct is a Class 6 felony. The other two are Class 1 misdemeanors. I'm appointing a lawyer for you. You'll be at 175 West Madison Street on July 16th at 8:30 for a status conference, a witness preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30. You cannot return to the scene of... Actually, I may have to change that. Let me hold on a second. All right, no, that's fine. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You're not to initiate contact with the alleged victim or victims. No weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription. Bond, it'll be a security appearance bond of $1,000. Step to your left, please. Anthony Walker with Miguel Gotzen on deck. Morning, sir. Your name and date of birth, please.
Anthony Walker, 09/27/1993.
All right. Just double check one thing. Okay, so you got two matters for me. One is a bench warrant out of Superior Court. Let's deal with that one first. On a theft charge, a Class 6 felony. You already have an attorney on that case. Your court date will be at 175 West Madison Street at 8:30 for a status conference on July 16th, and a witness preliminary hearing is scheduled 2 days later on July 18th, both at 8:30. You cannot initiate contact with the alleged victim, complainant, or witness, and your judge set bond amount of $500. Okay, so that's... Now, you also have a...
Did you say my bond was $500 for that case?
500, yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how can I have
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm trying to figure out why, because I was in the hospital. I even...
Well, you have to talk to your lawyer and your assigned judge. Your judge...
Right, I was released on a personal record, and I talked to the people at the text.
I'm just telling you, your judge set bond at that bond. Okay.
Okay.
Now, then you also have a case out of the El Centro Justice Court. The address will be on your paperwork. A misdemeanor for obstruction, refusing to give you true name, appointing a lawyer for you on that one, and so they'll transfer you in case you can't post your bond. I said bond and a security appearance bond of $25 on that.
How much?
25. That's
$25?
25.
$25.
That way they'll transport you if you still haven't posted bond. Okay? All right, step to your left, please. Nigel Goetson with Christopher Sandoval on deck.
Yes, sir. Nigel Goldson, birthday 8/26/92.
Okay, sir. You have two probation violations, 2000 warrants, 2023-138-308 and 2023-155-277 on both of, and I'm appointing a lawyer for you on both of them. You're both alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5. You'll get the same court date, same attorney for both cases. Your revocation arraignment hearing will be July 17th at 8:30 at 201 West Jefferson. If you get out, you need to contact your probation officer within 72 hours of release. You can't possess any weapons, you can't possess or consume any alcohol, and no drugs without a valid prescription. Bond was set at $200 by a judge in that court, the amount of $250 for each one, so a total security appearance bond of $500. All right. If you post your bond, make sure you show up and contact your probation officer.
Other than that, I'm staying here.
What?
Other than that, I'm staying here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Christopher Zoto Sandoval with Carlton Lalo on deck. All right, sir, your name and date of birth, please.
Christopher Isaac Zotos on the lot, 110492.
Okay, sir, you got two matters before me. One is a probation violation on a class, let's see, it's class 4 felony. 1 second here. No, it's your possession of dangerous drugs. You're alleged to have violated term number 1 on that. If you get out, contact your probation officer within 72 hours. No weapons, no alcohol, no drugs without a valid prescription. Important thing is contacting your probation officer in 72 hours. Your revocation arraignment hearing will be July 17th at 8:30 at 201 West Jefferson. And bond on that one was set at $250. Now you also have a new charge of possession of narcotic drugs, class 4 felony, possession of drug paraphernalia, class 6 felony. I don't have enough information in regard to narcotic drugs in terms of whether there's been a drug test or not, so I don't find probable cause on that one. Does not mean you won't be charged with it, but at this point, I don't find probable cause. I appoint a lawyer for you. Okay. Now, initially, this will be in a different courtroom and maybe a different lawyer, but it'll ultimately be combined. You'll have your revocation arraignment hearing on July 17th at 8:30 at 201 West Jefferson.
Yes, Your Honor.
So contact your probation officer in 72 hours. No weapons, no alcohol, no drugs without a valid prescription. All right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So narcotic drugs is 7/16 and 7/18 at 175 West Madison. So you have total of 3 different dates at this point. Okay, and the bond on the new case is $100 secured appearance bond. All right, so your total bond is $350 secured appearance bond. New case is July 16th and July 18th, and on the probation violation is July 17th, but at different courtrooms, okay, in different buildings. All right, step to your left, please. Carlton Lalo with Deanna Campoy on deck. All right, sir, your name and date of birth, please.
Carlton Lalo, 21681.
All right, so you got a warrant out of the Fountain Hills Town Court, and the address will be on your paperwork. It said it was a reinstated prosecution, and according to pretrial services, you weren't interested in an attorney, okay? But let me just go over everything. They went to a bond of $500 on you. Your arraignment hearing will be on July 16th, which is 6 days at 9 o'clock in the morning in Fountain Hills. You're not to initiate contact with the alleged victim or victims. Although they want a $500 bond, sir, I reduced it to $250 secured appearance bond. So if you post a bond, you better show up for court, all right? And a lawyer will be appointed for you at the next hearing. If you don't want one, I can't force you to have one, but, all right? Okay, step to your left, please. Deanna Campoy with Jose Lopez on deck.
Good morning.
All right, your name and date of birth, please.
Diana Laura Campoy, May 5th, 2002.
Okay, ma'am, you are charged with 3 counts of organized retail theft. I'm appointing a lawyer for you. You're not to return to the scene of alleged crime. You're not to initiate contact with alleged complainant or witness. You can't have any contract with your co-defendant, okay? I guess your boyfriend. And I know the state wants a bond of $2,000, but I'm going to release you to pretrial services. You'll be getting out within about 4 hours. Read your packet carefully, because you have to contact them. If you don't follow through with the requirements of pretrial services, they'll ask for a warrant. So,
okay. Thank you.
Make sure you show up for court. I didn't tell you the court dates.
Oh, sorry.
It's I did appoint a lawyer for you. You'll be at 175 West Madison Street. Status conference on July 24th, and a witness spilling hearing on July 28th, both at 8:30. Although state was asking for the bond, it looked at you don't have a clean you had a clean record as far as I can tell, and no felonies. But the allegations against you are relatively substantial, so you better show up for court. Okay? Step to your left, please.
Thank you.
Jose Lopez with Stephanie Schroeder on deck. Your name and date of birth.
Oh, Jose Francisco Lopez, 10480.
All right, sir, you are charged with possession of dangerous drugs, Class 4 felony, possession of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony, and criminal trespass in the third degree, Class 3 misdemeanor. I'm appointing a lawyer for you. Your court dates will be at 175 West Mass Street at 8:30 in the morning. Status conference on July 24th and witness preliminary hearing on July 28th. You better show up. You're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime. No drugs without a valid prescription. I'm releasing you to pretrial services with drug testing. Likewise, read your packet because you have to contact them, make sure you're in compliance with their requirements, and also make sure you're doing your drug testing, or else you'll be back here.
Yes, sir.
All right, step to your left. It'll be about 4 hours before you get out for the processing. Okay, Stephanie Schroeder with Jessica Wolford on deck. Yeah. Your name and date of birth, please.
Stephanie Schroeder, July 4th, 1990.
7490?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a yes, right?
Yes.
Okay, you are charged with possession of dangerous drugs, Class 4 felony, possession of dangerous drugs, Class 6 felony. Appointing a lawyer for you. You'll have your status conference on July 24th at 8:30, and a witness preliminary hearing on July 28th at 8:30. Don't lose your paperwork. It'll be 175 West Madison. Likewise, no drugs without a valid prescription. And you can't have any co-defendant contact with your co-defendant. Okay, with Dustin.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll release you to pretrial services with drug testing. So read your packet, make sure you're in contact with them, and make sure you get your drug testing, or else there'll be a warrant. All right, step to your left, please.
I'll see back where you were, please.
Jessica Wolford with Sabrina Hand on deck.
Hello, sir.
All right, your name and date of birth, please.
Jessica Wolford, 10/15/91.
Okay, you had an arrest warrant. I know you hadn't showed up in court, but I'm appointing a lawyer for you. It's on possession of dangerous drugs, Class 4 felony. Likewise, you'll be at 175 West Madison on July 24th at 8:30, and a witness preliminary hearing scheduled on July 28th at 8:30. Be on your paperwork. No drugs without a valid prescription. Likewise, you'll be released in about 4 hours to pretrial services. Contact them, read your paperwork, and make sure you can do your drug testing. If you don't, there'll be a warrant for your arrest. All right, step to your left, please. Sabrina Hand with Ebony Williams on deck.
Present.
Okay. All right, your name, date of birth, please.
Sabrina Hand, 030105.
Well, apparently you were able to stay awake because you wouldn't talk to pretrial services because you said you couldn't stay awake. But apparently you're up now. All right. And are you working?
Yes, I work under the table.
Well,
so
all right. Anticipate how much do you make per month about?
About 300.
Okay. All right. You're charged with possession of narcotic drugs, Class 4 felony, possession of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony. I am appointing a lawyer for you. You'll be at 175 West Madison on July 24th at 8:30, and a witness preliminary hearing on July 28th at 8:30. No drugs without a valid prescription. Same thing as I told the other folks. Read your packet. Wait till I'm done. Read the packet, because you're going to have to contact pretrial services, number one. Look at me, so I know you're paying attention. And also, you're going to have drug testing. If you don't comply with all those conditions, including drug testing, and you'll have a warrant and be back here. You'll be released in about 4 hours. All right? Step to your left.
Okay.
Ebony Williams with Alan Gonzalez on deck.
Hello.
Your name and date of birth, please.
Ebony Lauren Williams, March 28th, 1988.
You got a warrant at North Valley Justice Court on knowingly display a false license plate, Class 2 misdemeanor. They wanted a bond of over $376. Your court date will be July 29th at 9 o'clock at the North Valley Justice Court. The address will be on your paperwork. You spent all this time in the jail. I hope it'll be an encouragement for you to show up at court and don't miss any court dates, okay? Let me just double check something. You'll have to spend about the next 4 hours in jail, but then I'm releasing you on your own recognizance. But make sure you show up for court. It's not worth it, is it?
I was actually out of town for the court date.
What?
I was actually out of town for the court date.
Well, just
yeah,
you contact the court if it's a problem.
Not
You know what I mean?
intentional, but
now
absolutely.
that should be the highest priority for you.
Thank you.
All right, step to your left, please. Alan Gonzalez, and on deck is Maxine Pina.
You got it. Gentlemen, you can have me.
It's done. Sorry, it'll be about 10 minutes. Yeah, I was saying it'll probably be about 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh, no problem.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's what the hand signals were.
I was going to be like, hey, high five.
Okay. All right. Your name and date of birth, please.
Alan Gonzalez, November 28, 1984.
All right, sir. You are charged with unlawful means of transportation, a class 5 felony. I'm appointing a lawyer for you. Your court dates will be at 175 West Mass Street at 8:30 on July 24th for a status conference, a witness preliminary hearing on July 28th. You not to have any initiate contact with the alleged victim. So the victim wrote a long note. It had a big impact on that gentleman, and nevertheless, sir, I decided to release you on your own recognizance. You better show up, and obviously, if the facts are true, you know, obviously you're going to have some restitution to take care of also. But obviously, be smart and show up for court, all right? The address will be in paperwork, all right? Step to your left, please.
Thank you, sir.
Maxine Pina with Saleh Jaber on deck. All right. Good morning. Your name and date of birth, please.
Maxine Pena, 41194.
Okay, you've got a warrant out of the Towson Justice Court on driving license suspended or revoked. Okay, let me just check one thing here. It's on failure to pay, and you spent all this time in jail. This going back in 2017. This case, it's not worth it. You better start getting a high priority, get the money together and pay it off. Make that judge happy.
Yeah, I wasn't working then. I'm working
What?
now. I said I wasn't working then. I'm working now.
Well, but the point is, it's 8 years ago, something like that. So the fine might be higher than it was before, but take care of it. I'll release you on your own recognizance. But I'm saying you better show up there, or else next time you'll probably be staying here. You'll be on July 28th at 8:30 in the morning at the Towson City Court. The address will be on your paperwork. All right?
Okay.
Step to your left, please. Saleh Jaber with Brian Harold on deck. Oh, sir, did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, sir. Saleh Jabber.
Okay. How do you pronounce the last name?
Jabber?
I was from Jaber. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Same thing.
Okay. Sir, your name and date of birth, please.
Saleh Jabber, 4/20/98.
All right. You have a warrant out of Peoria City Court on excessive speed, being over 20 miles per hour of the limit. Sir, you better show up for court. It's not worth being here for that charge.
100%. Yeah.
You did time you probably wouldn't have done anyway.
100%.
Ordinarily. You'll be back in court on July 29th at that court, and the address will be in your paperwork. July 29th at 9 o'clock in the morning. You'll be out in a few hours after they do your processing, okay? You're released on your own recognizance. Okay? Step to your left, please.
Sir.
All right, Brian Harold with Jamie Garcia on deck. Hold on a second, no. Hold on 1 second. I got to see what I'm going to pull next. Okay, do you want to take the rest of the folks out except for the ones we have left? Okay. not going to do a fugitive justice case. Ms. Hyder?
The city of Phoenix people are back in here.
Pardon?
427.
What about it?
3, 4, and 27 with a.
Hold on 1 second. I may have to call one other case first.
Oh, okay. Where do you
I'm
want
not
it?
sure.
Right here?
Yeah, I'm sorry, we need to call, Celso Mora. My mistake on that.
And 3 and 4.
Yeah, 3, 4, and 5 we have to do still?
3 and 4, I think.
Okay, let's do 4. All right, sir, your name and date of birth, please.
Celso Mora, 12/10/1982.
Okay, sir, you got a bench warrant at Superior Court on possession of drug paraphernalia. You already have an attorney on that. It's actually based on a probation violation. You can have your revocation arraignment hearing on July 17th at 8:30 at 201 West Jefferson. Your alleged to violate terms 3, 4, and 5. If you get out, contact your probation officer within 72 hours. No weapons, no alcohol, no drugs without a valid prescription. A judge in that section set bond for you amount of $250 secured appearance bond. If you post your bond, contact your probation officer and be in court. All right? Stay to your left, please. Michael Scott, number 3. I've got a couple.
No, it's okay, Judge. I didn't even I've been looking at you for the last, 20 minutes, and I'm like, that looks like Judge Bernstein. But then I'm like, no, it's Judge Dyer.
I retired
and then
6 years
I didn't see
ago.
the nameplate because I didn't have my glasses on. I kept thinking, like, God, that looks like Jerry Bernstein.
All right. So your name and date of birth, please.
Scott, 10/185.
What's your date of birth?
10/185.
10/185?
Yeah, 10/1.
Okay, sir, you've got charge of possession of dangerous drugs, possession of class 4, and possession of drug paraphernalia class 6. I'm appointing a lawyer for you. Sir, it looks like you have 7 prior felony convictions, all drugs. I mean, let me just point out to you, I'm appointing a lawyer for you. He'll be at 175 West Madison on July 24th for a status conference and a witness film hearing on July 28th, both at 8:30. No drugs without a valid prescription. Sir, despite your record, I'm releasing you to pretrial services with drug testing, so make sure you contact them. Make sure you do your drug testing.
Can you release today?
You'll be out within about 4 hours, okay?
Okay.
Show up at court.
Okay.
Who else? So, everyone's done?
You're staying on your green spot.
Okay. Other than when, is that everybody? Except for the people I have to call. Okay, yeah.
How are you, Judge?
Generally, we do, actually, if FOJ cases last.
Yeah.
But,
Have a seat.
okay.
How have you been? I didn't even know you.
Let me just, I'm just going to mention that's a probation violation.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Okay. Is everyone else other than just the last few cases? Okay. All right, let's deal with it that way. Okay. I'll just be careful.
I will.
All right, sir, give me your name and date of birth, please.
Dane Ayers, 4/17/2000.
Okay. Now you're appearing with your attorney, who's filed this appearance, Ms. Hyder.
Yes, Judge.
And so I can't put in on FOJs. I cannot put in your name. But so
That's okay.
I just want to mention too. Is the state also appearing on this one?
Yeah, Tom Van Dorn for the state, Your Honor.
Okay, I thought so. Just anyway, they did submit a recommendation, but they were appearing virtually also. All right. So ordinarily, actually the first one I've had with an attorney present on this one. So I'm going to ask you some questions. I'll tell you, I'm going to direct them towards Ms. Hyder and you. Let's put it that way. All right. Looks like you have a warrant for your arrest out of the state of Florida. They want you back on the warrant. Now, you got a laminated card, right? Did you read it?
We did, Judge.
Okay, and Ms. Hyder explained everything to you?
Yes.
Anything you don't understand? And if anything you don't understand in this proceeding, that's why you have Ms. Hyder here, and she can explain everything to you, all right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, basically, you have a choice to make at this time. You can choose to waive your right to an extradition hearing and be sent back to Florida within 30 days, or you can demand an extradition hearing and that a governor's warrant be signed by the governors of both states before you be sent back to the state of Florida. The reason why we do this last anyway, because there's so much reading involved.
I'm so sorry, Judge.
If you decide to waive your right to an extradition hearing, you'd be held without bond in the Maricopa County Jail. Am I not talking loud enough?
You know what, it's
He's
not,
gonna close that
I'm
door.
having a hard time hearing.
He's gonna close the door, so that should cause, like.
Yeah, it's just that, my hearing's going.
I'm having trouble hearing also, so that's why. I'll try to talk louder, okay?
No, it's okay, it was the door too,
No.
thank you.
If you decide to waive your right to an extradition hearing, you'd be held non-bondable in the Maricopa County Jail for a period of 30 days to allow time for Florida to come for you. The 30 days would start tomorrow, as long as you don't have any criminal charges pending against you anywhere in Arizona. I'm not aware of anything.
No, Judge, actually, just for your edification, I have actually been working on this case in conjunction with his Florida attorney for the last month. We've been actually cooperating with probation. We've had multiple mental health evaluations. I've read through the petition. I actually got a hold of the...
Okay, hold on 1 second. This will be the way we'll do almost with you and both counsels speak at the same time about that. Okay, because I have some comments to make in regard to it. Let me just finish the general instructions.
Sure.
Okay. I was talking about, I don't think you have any other charges.
No, he doesn't, and the
charges in
prosecutor
Arizona. If you
confirmed
do have
that.
criminal charges pending against you in Arizona, the 30-day period would not start until those charges are resolved. If you decide to have your extradition hearing, I'd set your hearing, your next court date would be July 21st at 1:30 at 201 West Jefferson, probably in front of Commissioner Spencer. All right. I don't even have to tell you about appointing an attorney since you've hired your own attorney, so, because generally they're civil in nature, okay? Ordinarily, a person may be entitled to bond unless there's certain exceptions such as probation violations or things of that sort. I'll just say in general, if a person is unable to post bond, a person would be held in custody during that time until another judge modifies your bond. Okay, because it says here you would not be entitled to bail because the arrest warrant is for parole, probation, capital murder, or escape. A governor's warrant signed by the governors of both states is required to extradite you to Florida. That could take up to 90 days. Okay. Now, let's just talk about this, Ms. Hyder, since you did mention this, and in a way, I'm glad you mentioned part of it. And you can hear me now, right?
I can, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. And Mr. Van Doren, you can hear me also, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
You come out much clearer than I do. Anyway, Ms. Hyder, I'm glad you've done the legwork, so to speak, on this in regard to this. But, and I'm going to make a suggestion in regard to this, obviously, or not a suggestion, a comment in regard to it. I've read the warrant, and let me double check that it's. They said to all states, by the way, and they did confirm it, by the way. And they say it's based on a probation violation. And you know what the charges are, what it's based upon. Ordinarily, on the probation violations, and they ask for no bond. Sometimes they ask for no bond, where we can't, but I would follow it. Now, I appreciate the fact you're doing all this work, and it would seem to me, I don't have that information from my perspective. You're asking me to look into the mind of the judge or probation department in Florida. In terms of that, it would seem to me that the next step would be, obviously, if you want to set for a hearing or if you want to waive it, you may be able to resolve it by contacting the Florida authorities and see if there's some sort of agreement in regard to that. because one way or another, he's going to have to go back to Florida.
Right.
So, I mean, that's what I'm thinking, because right now, I can't speak for another judge. That judge back in, Fort Myers, I think it was, that area, has ordered it be held non-bondable. But I'm sorry, I'm going to let the state speak first, now, and go from there. Counsel?
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, it's Tom Van Dorn for the state. Your Honor, as we all know here, this is a probation violation. We all know what the underlying offense is for. I don't think I need to state it.
I do.
All right, yeah, I don't know who's all in the courtroom. So, and while the state is also not familiar with the facts of the specific case involving this defendant, the state would respectfully request that the court affirm the no bond that is outlined in the warrant pending additional extradition proceedings. Alternatively, though, if the court is inclined to not hold the defendant non-bondable, then the state would recommend that the court consider imposing a $1 million cash-only bond. The defendant here has shown a propensity to not abide by the terms and conditions of his probation, and given the underlying offense, the state does feel that he is a danger to our community here in Arizona, and that a bond is necessary for community safety to ensure attendance at any future proceedings. So that's all, Your Honor. Thank you.
Could you remind me of something? In the county attorney's office, there is one person who does all the extradition matters. Is that right?
That is correct, and I believe Ms. Hyder and Andrea Kiever is our deputy county
Ms.
attorney.
Kiever, that's right. I figured that. Okay.
That's right.
So, I'm sorry, anything else, Mr. Van Dorn?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Hyder, I was almost 90% sure it would be Ms. Kiever. Have you had contact with her?
I did, actually, Judge. She was very gracious and gave me a lot of information yesterday. We actually spoke. Mr. Van Dorn's correct. I will be candid with the court and the state. Like, I'm not a super fugitive of justice expert these days. So, but what I will say is, and I recognize that there's this overarching principle. I'm not familiar with the statute because I was looking at it and I've been doing the research. And what I want to tell this court, whether it makes a difference or not, but what I started with was 133856, which is the fugitive justice bond parameters, and it's if it's a capital case or if it's somebody's on escape.
There's a difference between that and fugitive FOJs.
Okay, that was. Well,
in some respect, let's put it this way. On here, if we issue a warrant on certain circumstances, we can set them non-bondable on pursuant to Rule 7.2C and 27.6.
So all I'll say, Judge, is I'm familiar with this case. I'm familiar with the facts underlying it. And I've been in contact with Mr. Fry, Mr. Ayers' attorney in Florida. And I understand the state's position, but I disagree with it because I think because we don't know the underlying facts, this was something here in Maricopa County that if it were charged in Maricopa County, I would be comfortable, I would think we would be getting I won't even go there. My point is back in 2020 when this case started, okay, Mr. Ayers was indicted in Florida and then came here, but he completely cooperated, didn't flee anything for 2 years. And what Florida did, they did the same thing that they did here, despite Mr. Fry, that's his attorney in Florida, despite his attorney in Florida trying to work out self-surrender, trying to work out all kinds of things that we typically would do here. They just refused to do it. He got a bond here, and Florida got upset, and they ended up trying to pull some other types of...
Were you representing him back then?
No. The only reason that I know this is because I've been in contact with Mr. Fry for over the last month because we knew this was coming, and we were trying to work with probation because there are some extenuating circumstances that go with this petition. I recognize what the allegations are, but we've got somebody who's, who was in mental health treatment, who has a TBI. We had a lot of mitigation we were developing to try to say, look, we can redo this in a better way.
Has he been designated SMI?
No, no, because we literally just got the neuropsych report.
Okay.
I think I got it last Tuesday. And I had put a call into probation because what I was saying is...
Probation in Florida?
No, Florida, probation here, because I know probation in Florida. Apparently this was somewhat of a contentious case back in 2020. I'm not quite sure why it was so... To me, the underlying facts were fairly
but not courtesy supervision out here.
He's courtesy supervision out here, but I got a hold of probation. Yeah. So I got a hold of probation here, and I was trying to work with them to put him back into a treatment program pending we were trying to work with him to put him back into a treatment program that might be more suited for somebody with his mental health limitations. But before we could do that, they reported to Interstate Compact, and Florida just before we could even talk to Florida, they just issue this warrant, no bond, all of that. I understand, but we've never tried to flee from this case. I understand what the requirements are. I guess the part that I'm struggling with, and I'm sure that this might be routine for all of you, is that, this is a petition that's based on literally, he's been on probation for 2.5 years under extremely onerous conditions, and it's based on stuff that's happened literally in the last 2 months, and now we're going to hold him no bond.
Let me ask you this, okay?
Yeah.
Look, I think basically the issue is going to have to be dealt with in Florida.
Right.
And so, we can't litigate it here.
No.
In Maricopa County, even though it may be courtesy supervision here, obviously they can have some say or input in regard to it. And so, sir, let me just tell you something. It's really I've been an attorney for over 40 years. I've been retired 6 years, but I was on the bench for a while. And I appreciate when an attorney works as hard as your attorney here has worked and cares, okay? Because when I was a defense attorney, I cared, and I tried to do the best. And I really appreciate all the work she's doing for you. But obviously, I can't act as the Florida judge. And so I appreciate all her comments, but I think we're really stuck with that situation. So perhaps you can work with Ms. Kiefer, but the key thing is he's got to go back to Florida no matter what. So it's your choice in regard to that. I feel your frustration, but I can't be a Florida judge.
I know, Judge. I know, and I understand that.
With all that in mind, what's your next step? Because obviously
he would waive if you're not going to give him a reasonable bond. The only other thing I would put for the record is that initially, when he was indicted on this offense, the bond was $20,000 in Florida.
But back then it wasn't a probation violation.
No, it was just the underlying criminal offense.
All right. So I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions, and obviously, sir, this is very important. If there's anything you don't understand, once again, ask Ms. Hyder. Okay. All right. I understand this time you do want to sign the waiver of extradition. I need to ask you some questions because I'm making a record of this proceeding. Now, once again, have you read the waiver of extradition paperwork?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand you do not have to sign this paperwork?
Yes.
Do you understand you have the right to have an extradition hearing?
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand you have the right, you understand you have the right to hire a lawyer at your own expense? Well, that's been done. Yeah.
Judge, can I just ask a really quick question of you or Mr. Van Dorn before this is my question, is if we don't waive, because I know the question is we could, Ms. Kieber advised me we could try to work with Florida and maybe work out something to drop the warrant and just have them go over and self-surrender within the time frame between now.
Well, that's between you.
Right. My question is if we don't waive today, and we set it for July 21 of 2025 in front of Commissioner Spencer.
Most likely to be in front of her, yeah.
Yeah, let's just say, and Mr. Van Dorn, hopefully he can hear me too, because maybe he can advise me, but let's just say we don't get to work out a deal with Florida because they don't want to drop the warrant. If we waive extradition on the 21st, does that 30-day period start all over then?
I think it does.
It does.
It would seem logical that it would.
Sure. He is the interstate. I'm confirming with Interstate Compact to see if he is. If he is, he'll just be a hold for Florida to come pick him up.
There won't be any extradition hearing?
No.
There won't be any what?
And there won't be an extradition hearing. If Interstate Compact confirms that he is an interstate, he's already pre-signed a waiver.
Okay.
Oh, he pre-signed the waiver?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that. Because generally when you do that, you agree to be extradited. It's been a long time on that. I'd forgotten all about that. So,
So I am confirming with
you are confirming?
Lori Littler.
So that means...
You are confirming or it has been?
I know, I just sent her an email right
Okay.
now.
So we're definitely dead in the water.
Yeah. Okay. So let me finish asking the question. Well, even though it's pre-signed it,
Well, if it is, we won't.
What?
We won't even see him right now. It'll just be vacated.
Well, if it hasn't been confirmed yet, so let me just go through it just in case.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And, basically, you know, you've hired Ms. Hyder, so that's not, I don't have to ask that question. Do you understand you have the right to demand, assuming it's not been confirmed?
He's gonna waive, Judge. I don't think that.
I still have to ask the question
Yeah.
just in case. Do you understand you have the right to demand the governor's warrant be signed by the governors of both Florida and Arizona before he returned?
Yes.
Okay, this is assuming everything hasn't been confirmed. Do you understand you don't have the right to bond, like we talked about? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you want to give up these rights to sign the paperwork?
Yes. Yes.
Do you, has anyone threaten you or promise you anything to get you to do this?
No.
Okay. If you're using drugs, alcohol, or medicine that makes it more difficult to understand it?
No.
Okay. All right. I'm making this following ruling on this in the event it hasn't been confirmed about there's been that pre-signed waiver of extradition, but so I'm going through the procedure anyway. Okay. I find you've knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily are signing the waiver. I'm also signing it. I'm directing the sheriff's office to notify Florida that you're ready to return. They'll have 30 days from tomorrow to pick you up unless there are local charges pending. If there are local charges pending, the 30 days will not start until the beginning of that case. Okay? If any questions, obviously Ms. Hyde will try to answer them. We're going to have you step over there and sign it, even though you may not, it may be unnecessary. I said I'm going there. Just play it,
No, I wanted to
play it safe, okay? Because there may have already been, I'd forgotten about it. As I said on the courtesy supervision, you waive that. But just in case it's not confirmed, okay? And good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
And do you need time to talk to some more back there?
It's Tom Van Dorn. Is the defendant being held non-bondable? Was that your ruling?
Yeah, well, that's what I was ruling, and also, but he may have, the point is, since it's courtesy supervision, he may have already waived his right to a hearing anyway. And since also he's waiving, and say even that doesn't apply, since he's waiving the hearing, he'd be held non-bondable anyway. Okay?
Sounds good, Your Honor. I'll let Ms. Keeper know.
Okay, and what I'm basically doing is saying he's chosen to waive his rights as if, you know, he was waiving it, but it may be a moot point. Okay? All right, very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you need to talk to him some more?
No, I don't.
Okay.
When he has a hold, though.
What?
When he has a hold, is there a time limit that they have to come
Yeah,
get?
it'll be 30 days if you waive it. I'm signing the waiver.
Yeah, that's why I want the waiver signed, because she's.
If any questions, talk to Ms. Kiefer, because maybe it still could be worked out. You never know, you know what I mean?
So do you want me to print the waiver?
Yeah, print it just, this is just in case it's not going to be confirmed that there's been a previous waiver. See what I mean? I'm just, that way we have a record that it's actually been done.
Well, I think what your issue is that, like, the waiver doesn't apply because there's a hold. What my question is, if there's a hold, is there a time period that they have to come get them?
Either way, it would have to be picked up within 30 days.
That's what I'm asking.
Do they normally pick them up within 30 days if they're interstate compact?
They do.
Let's print out the waiver, because I want to make sure, because I'm afraid what'll end up happening.
Well, that's why, you know, talk to Ms. Kiefer about that, if there's any issue about that, you know. And probation here.
This would be the hold. We wouldn't technically see him on the FOJ. He would just be booked as a hold waiting for Florida to come pick him up.
So if that were the case, we just had a regular hearing?
He wouldn't have a hearing at all. So he would just be waiting pickup for Florida, yeah. Did you need a copy as well?
Yes, pretty clear.
Is this a copy too?
Yeah, just one for you, one for him, or.
Okay, so this is your copy. Okay. Yes. All right. Where's the pleading that I gave you?
Okay. Oh, see, Mr. Harold, Brian Harold?
You have it in your pocket? Yeah. All right, so call me when you get to wherever you're going. Do you know what?
Yeah, miss, you can go back there if you want to talk to him some more.
Do you know what James wanted to go?
Have a seat behind the podium.
Right here?
Yeah, right behind the podium. Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. I'll get out of your way.
Okay. Oh, so do you want him, should his arms be out?
Yes, put your hands to your seat, man. Harold, while you're ready, put your hands to your seat.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I know you're cold.
It's cold here, I know. As opposed to outside. Okay, so your name and date of birth, please.
Brian Harold, and it's July 21st, 83.
Okay, so you have the following charges, which I'm appointing a lawyer for you. Possession or use of drugs in a drug-free zone, a Class 2 felony. At this point, I don't find probable cause. Doesn't mean you won't be charged with it if I don't find probable cause. Possession of dangerous drugs, Class 4 felony. Give me 1 second. I have to modify that. So I have to check one message I got in regard to this case, so I'll be right with you. Sorry, I just want to double check something. Yeah, I am amending it a little bit. Okay, so, failure to register as a sex offender, failure to provide address as a sex offender, the registration of a sex offender, possession of drug paraphernalia, and criminal trespass in third degree. I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date will be 175 West Madison Street on July 16th at 8:30, and the witness preliminary hearing on July 18th at 8:30. Not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, you cannot initiate contact with any alleged complainant or witnesses. Bond is set in the amount of $2,500, secured appearance bond.
Am I getting released today?
If you post your bond, $2,500.
If not, where am I going to?
You'll be at court and you'll talk to your lawyer.
What now?
If you don't post your bond, you'll be seen by your assigned judge on July 16th, and you'll talk to your lawyer, and your lawyer can always make an application, see if the bond can be reduced.
If not, I'll be.
You'll stay in jail.
Huh?
You'll stay in jail then if you don't post the bond.
What now?
You'll stay in jail, but if you don't post the bond.
Oh, okay.
All right. Step to your left, please. Jamie Garcia.
Jaime Garcia.
Your name and date of birth, please.
Sorry, Jaime Garcia, December 12th, 1994.
All right, sir, you're here on a probation violation. You know what you're on probation for.
Correct.
I'm appointing a lawyer for you. Your next court date will be a probation revocation arraignment hearing on July 17th at 8:30 at 201 West Jefferson. You're alleged to have violated terms 6, 7, 11, 14, and 21. You're not to initiate contact with the victim or victims, not to possess any weapons, no possession or consumption of any alcohol, no drugs without a valid prescription. If you get out, contact your probation officer within 72 hours. Your judge set bond in the amount of $750 secured appearance bond. If you post your bond, contact your probation officer and make it to court. All right? Step to your left, please. Michael Courtney. Okay, so your name and date of birth, please.
Courtney, April 1st, 1968.
Okay, sir. You are charged with appointing a lawyer for you. You're charged with failure to register as a sex offender, Class 4 felony. Your next court dates will be at 175 West Madison on July 24th at 8:30, and for a status conference, a witness preliminary hearing is July 28th at 8:30. State was asking for a $1,500 bond, but I'm going to release you to pretrial services. Make sure, read the packets, you'll contact them and comply with their conditions, or else you'll have a warrant. All right, you'll be out in a few hours. All right, step to your left, please. David Kartstadt. Sure. Your name and date of birth, please.
David Karstedt, July 31st, 1958.
Okay, so 1 second, sir. I would say this, sir. I decided to appoint a lawyer for you. I guess with all your income, you might have been over the limit, but I'm only considering your income, not your wife's income.
Thank you.
Okay. You're charged with a Class 5 felony, public sexual indecency with a minor present, and a Class 1 misdemeanor, public sexual indecency with an adult present. Your court dates will be July 24th, 175 West Madison Street, and a witness preliminary hearing on July 28th at 8:30. All right. You can't initiate contact with any alleged victim or victims, and you'll be released to pretrial services. Make sure you contact them and be in compliance with them. All right.
Yes, sir.
That'll be in your packet. All right?
I don't have any idea who
They'll be out within a few hours.
I don't have any idea who the victims or any of those people
Well, I'm just saying.
Okay.
Doing it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Now we have the house calls. Okay. Number 2 is Hannah McGough. Apparently she was being combative. She's also got waiting for a CIA anyway. Apparently she was, according to pretrial services, she's also falling over. She's charged with possession of dangerous drugs in Class 4 and possession of dangerous drugs Class 6. Appoint a lawyer for her. Her court dates will be July 24th and July 28th, 8:30 for a status conference and witness preliminary hearing at 175 West Madison. She'll be released to pretrial services with drug testing. And this Russell Hofstadt, who was combative, and pretrial services indicated he had bizarre behavior. He's charged with burglary in third degree, robbery, and theft. Appoint a lawyer for him. His court dates will be 7/16, 7/18 for status conference and witness preliminary hearing at 8:30 at 175 West Madison Street. Can't return to the scene of the crime. Cannot initiate contact with any alleged victims. And bond is set the amount of $3,500 security appearance bond. All right, and there's 3133, Trevion Wright was refusing orders, refusing to follow directives. So in regard to 2025-128158, he's got a new charge of possession of narcotic drugs, class 4 felony, appointing a lawyer for him. I do not find probable cause on that based on limited information. His court dates will be July 24th and July 28th at 175 West Madison for a status conference and witness preliminary hearing. The state agreed that there was no probable cause on that. In regard to CR 2023-154738, it's on probation violation warrant on a class 1 misdemeanor, appointing a lawyer for him. It'll be at 201 West Jefferson, July 17th at 8:30 for revocation arraignment hearing. Must contact his probation officer within 72 hours of releasing him on his own recognizance. Is that it? I didn't leave anyone behind, did I? Yes, no. Good thing. All right, let's do house calls. So, I'll wait a couple of minutes. I guess you got to take the folks out. We are off the record.